What's going on, people? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Um, I want to talk about yesterday's action. What's good? What's going on, no KP? I hope you're well. I hope you're good. What's good? I hope you're good. I hope you're good. What's good? Everyone in the house, what's good? Waiting for you guys to come on. How's it going, peeps? You guys good? What's good? What's good? Let's get your questions in. Get your questions in. All good. Waiting for Parker. Yeah, waiting for Parker Chisora. Good fight. Good fight. A bit disappointed with Parker, to be honest with you. I was expecting more from his career. Fortunately, he hasn't lived up to what I initially thought. But let's see if he can turn his career around. It's going to be difficult for Parker. Chisora is not easy. He always brings it. Always brings the heat. Last time, a lot of people thought Chisora won the fight. But guys, what did you make? I mean, no KP. What did you make of Beterbiev Brown yesterday? Were you impressed by? Were you impressed by Brownie? Were you impressed by Beterbiev? What did you make of Beterbiev's performance? I want to know what you guys thought of Beterbiev's performance. What did you guys think? Were you impressed? Were you not so impressed? Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't all that impressed, But I think Beterbiev's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's limited. Like, I think he's quite one-dimensional. Like, he's quite robotic, and he's all one pace. Beterbiev's all one pace. There's no. It's just like all one pace. He's fighting at one pace, and I think Canelo might be too much for Beterbiev. I think Canelo might be too much. I'd love to know what you guys think. Get your questions and smash the like button, guys, and let me know what you think. Do you think Beterbiev beats Canelo? Do you think Beterbiev beats Bivol? I thought it was good if he can keep up the pressure against Canelo. That right hand is devastating, but it's quite methodical. It's quite like, it's not. There's no change in pace. There's no acceleration. It's all one pace. It's all one pace. I don't know against Canelo, him coming forward like that, getting hit by right hands, uppercuts, body shots, left hooks. Canelo's got it all. Canelo's very versatile. He isn't a guy that is just going to get hit with, just going to hit you with one shot. Canelo can hit you with several different punches. He beat Kov in the amateurs. Beterbiev? Yeah, he might beat him in the amateurs. I don't see it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for him against Canelo. It's going to be very, very difficult. He can box when he wants, but can he box? Whenever I've seen him, he's always pushing a guy back. So if Canelo puts him on the back foot, can he box off the back foot? Like, for me, he comes across a bully. But if the bully gets bullied, how will he react to that? Do you understand what I mean? So for me right now, Beterbiev's a bully. He comes forward and beats you up and wears you down. But if now a guy, he meets his match and someone's able to push Beterbiev back, then how's Beterbiev going to box on the back foot? That's a big question mark for me, because Canelo Alvarez might be the guy that's physically strong enough and powerful enough to push him back. Then how will he react to being pushed back? That's the question I have. Guys, get your questions in, guys. I'd love for you to get your questions in. Let me know. Smash the like button as well. Everyone in the live stream, smash the like button. Let me know what you thought of Beterbiev's performance. Smash the like button, everyone in the stream. I'd love to know what you thought of Beterbiev's performance. What did you make of Beterbiev Brown yesterday? How do you think Beterbiev gets on against Bivol, Canelo, and the winner of Smith Johnson? Well, we already seen him against Johnson. What's up, Steven? My man in the house. What's up, Steven is in the house. What's good, Steven? I didn't even get a chance to see the fight. Go and see the fight, Steven. I don't know. After you watch that, Andre Ward is a hater. What did Andre Ward say? I know Andre Ward said that he feels Beterbiev is beatable, but what did he say about Canelo? Did he say something about Canelo, Jovan? Because I know you're a Canelo fan, so I probably said something about Canelo, right? Yeah, but to be honest with you, Beterbiev can be beat, in my opinion. Steven, what's going on, brother?
What's up with it, man? How you doing, man?
All good, man. All good. Good seeing you. All as always, man. It's always good seeing you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man,
So,
yesterday, man, I can't believe you didn't see the Beterbiev fight.
no, I didn't get a chance to see it, man. But I seen your review on it,
Yeah.
and but I got a couple of takes on that, man.
Yeah, go on.
Now you were saying that you were saying that Beterbiev,
Mm.
he's a bit robotic,
Yeah,
and you
he's
said that
robotic.
he's kind of he's kind of a one trick pony. He walks
Yeah,
you
yeah.
down, he
Yeah, yeah.
slugs you out. But I would argue that I think that's the key. I think Canelo, he struggles with those types of fighters, those rough, rugged, and raw fighters. Now,
Mm-hmm.
one thing about Beterbiev is he's incredibly durable because I heard the dude had a cut on his head, and it seems like that sprung him alive. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? It seems like that put him into go mode, and he was
Mm.
able to put Marcus Brown out of misery after that.
Mm. But you know what? Beterbiev's been down a couple of times as well. Like, he's been down against Johnson. I think he was down earlier on in his career as well. So this isn't Golovkin, Steven. This isn't a guy that, isn't hurt. This isn't a guy that can't be hurt. He can be hurt. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not sure, because what you got to realize is when you're coming forward against Canelo, as you know, Steven, you know better than anyone, it's dangerous. Unless you got a chin like Golovkin, right? And you know for sure you can take the fight, because if you're coming forward, those uppercuts, those body shots, remember, if you're in close range with Canelo, those body shots are lethal,
Yeah.
and Canelo's shown throughout his career, Stephen, Canelo's
Mm-hmm.
got a granite chin. Canelo doesn't get hurt in
He got
fights.
one of the he got one of the in a professional battle. Better be who's used to getting hit by he's used to getting hit by you know 175 pounders. I'm
Mm.
not sure how Canelo's punches will affect him,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Yeah.
not Canelo will have the power come from a natural 175 pounder, the strongest of them all.
Mm.
Now, in that
Mm.
division at 175, think I think Better Beast is the strongest of them all. That
Mm.
dude's
Yeah,
that
he is. Yeah.
that dude's that dude's ox, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's strong, man.
He's
Strong.
literally like this. Like he lost like half of his blood last night, and he didn't even stop coming forward. Like I thought he was gonna get exhausted because of the amount of blood he was losing,
Yeah.
but he didn't. He didn't. His pace kept on going up each round. His
Yeah,
pressure.
he's a beast. He's a beast. Don't get. I just think everything's at one pace. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have my doubts
Now
about Beterbiev
Imran,
against someone like Canelo, someone as skilled as Canelo. It's not
Imran,
easy.
look at Canelo. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on,
Look at
EK.
Canelo
I can't
fighting
go on.
style. He's a pressure fighter, right? He was pressuring Callum. He was pressuring
Yeah.
Billy. He was pressuring Yildirim. He was pressuring Billy Joe and Plant. So now he's gonna if he
Mm,
does face Beterbiev, that's all Beterbiev does is
mm,
pressure. I don't think he's gonna be able
mm.
to pressure better. He's not gonna be able to walk him down. So he's gonna have to like box, which he hasn't done. Like he hasn't been like like he's gonna have to do some stuff he hasn't done for a while. Canelo. So I
I
don't
don't
think
Mm.
think
like
I don't
Steven, something's up with your connection, bro. Steven, something's up with your connection. Steven, your connection. All right. Okay. Yeah. Connection's a bit dodgy, but
It's messing up.
yes. Yeah. A little bit. But yeah, go on, Steven. What were you gonna say? Go on, EK. While Steven's getting it sorted out, give your take. So, what did you make of Beterbiev's performance?
I thought he did despite getting the big gash on his head, which is a lot like Badu Jack. You know, when when he was fighting Badu Jack, the same thing happened. So maybe, I don't know, but I just believe that like he showed his grit, his toughness. You know, like each round, his pace even it's like the more blood he lost, the his pace increased, his pressure increased. You know, like and he didn't look even tired at the end. Like, you know, I thought like the more blood he's gonna use, the more exhausted he's gonna get. So I was really impressed. You know, like he didn't let it phase him at all. Like there was a pool of blood. It was like a Niagara Falls on his forehead. You know, like it was like I was very impressed. But I just feel like that's like I don't think Canelo's gonna fight him next.
You don't?
I don't think he's gonna fight him next. He might fight him in his career, but he's not gonna, because he might wait. Like he's already 36. Like he may go for the other champions first, like Bivol and like, you know, or maybe he'll do what he did when he stepped into 168, fight a like, you know, Rocky Fielding type of guy at 175 again, maybe, and then like go for Bivol and go for other like stronger champions, and then he might end it with Beterbiev. But like I think Beterbiev is stronger than Triple G, and I think and I really am, even though I believe Canelo is like the best fighter in the world, I'm a big fan. He's my favorite fighter. I don't think he's gonna be able to walk Beterbiev down.
But has he got the chin of Triple G? That's the question. Has he got the durability
against a 168 pounder? He might. You know, like against like, because Canelo's not even a big 168.
Canelo hits hard though. I don't know.
Yeah, but I doubt he hits harder than the ones, like, you know, the big 175 guys. Like maybe he hits just as hard as them. I don't think he hits.
Who is Beterbiev? Who do you think's Beterbiev's fought that hits harder than Canelo?
I don't know. Like he's a 175 pounder, right? Those guys are pretty big. So
yeah, no,
I don't think Canelo's known for his technique, his defensive. He's not a one punch, you know, killer. He puts on the pressure and makes you tired. That's what Canelo does recently. I'm going off by recent. Like, of course, Canelo's knocked out Khan by one punch and stuff like that.
But here's the thing, though, EK. Canelo can box it. This is what I was saying. Beterbiev's a bully, right? Beterbiev bullies you, right? Canelo can fight on the back foot. Now, just say if Canelo pushes Beterbiev back, hurts Beterbiev, pushes Beterbiev back, can Beterbiev box on the back foot? I know Beterbiev's got a decorated amateur experience. He's got decorated amateur career, but can he box on the back foot if Canelo sticks it on him? Do you see where?
Yeah, but that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Canelo's going to be able to push him back like for like every round or something. You know, maybe he might do it for like a spot. I don't think he's going to do it. Like, I don't think Beterbiev, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's going to be able to walk him down. But you know, Canelo is one of the great all-time greats. He might be able to like do unbelievable things, which he's already done.
So let's go through some of these questions.
Fighters.
H says,
yeah.
Go on. What were you finish off? What you were gonna say?
That's okay. It's fine. I was just gonna repeat.
Yeah, also fair.
I was just gonna repeat. Like I was just gonna say, like I'm not big on Beterbiev as I am on Canelo, but I still think he's not gonna be able to walk him down, like throughout the fight.
Fair enough. H says, Imran, are you watching the card? Yes, I am watching the card. I am watching the fights. I've got it. I'm watching it on my telly with the volume off. But yeah, so I wanna. So let me just go through some of these questions. Canelo fights champions. He won't look for a tune-up. Yeah, I agree. Makabu's a champion. I know EK just said that he doesn't think Canelo will fight Beterbiev next. He'll wait for
Beterbiev. But there's other champions.
A little bit. Hey?
There's other champions that are like less dangerous than Beterbiev, so he might go for Bivol or someone else.
So it says Johnson hits harder than Canelo. No, KP says. You know who Callum Johnson is, EK?
Is he a British fighter?
Yeah, he put Beterbiev down when they fought. Left hook. So he says basically no, KP saying Beterbiev hits hard. He basically Callum Johnson put Beterbiev down when they fought.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's boxing. You know, anyone can get caught. I'm just saying, like holistically, I think that's like the most dangerous fight for Canelo. After like the last most dangerous fight he had was the first fight with Triple G, and now it's going to be Beterbiev, in my opinion.
Yeah. JM80 says, love your passion for the sport, Imran. You don't routinely swear, so I can listen to him while my kids are around. Appreciate it, man. JMAM84. I appreciate you listening to me. Best Nobel Live says, Beterbiev can KO Canelo. He's a big dude and a strong puncher. I still favor Canelo, though. Do you think Beterbiev can KO Canelo, EK?
No, I think Canelo's too skilled and it's fine. Like defensively, it's a possibility. He's only human, right? But I wouldn't put money on it.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's a very dangerous fight, to be honest. Like, I think it's more dangerous than Triple G, because he looks huge. He looks like massive. Beterbiev. It's gonna be like, those mountain guys are pretty tough. Those Chechens.
So Zane says, "Lol, you're all tripping, my lad." So he says we're all tripping, thinking that Canelo will beat Beterbiev.
You have a different point. I have a different point.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we both wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so everyone's got
Maybe
their own.
He's rooting for the referee to knock someone out.
Yeah. So Eric Teller says, "Hear me out though. If Makabu doesn't manage to stop Canelo, then I don't see any 175 doing it either." What do you make of that?
No, that's not how boxing works. You know how Muhammad Ali didn't knock out Joe Frazier, but like George Foreman knocked the hell out of Joe Frazier, and then Muhammad Ali knocked out Joe Frazier. That's not how boxing works.
Yeah. I agree with that. Beterbiev probably stops Makabu's. So So I think a lot of people they'll split on this, There's a lot of people out there. Stephen, I sent another link, by the way, if you're in. La Vida Loca says, Andre Ward said Beterbiev is different. He's had over 300 amateur fights, grew up in the Soviet system. It's going to be really hard to beat him. So why are Canelo fans thinking it's going to be easy? No one said it's going to be easy. Who said it's going to be easy? Did you say it was going to be easy, EK?
No, I actually think Canelo most likely, if he just goes right in there, like it won't be. I don't think he's going to win, in my opinion, right now. Canelo won't win.
You don't think he'll beat Beterbiev right now?
No, not right now. Like, I feel like if he goes through the other champions and makes maybe Beterbiev gets a little older, I don't know. I just don't, like, last night, I didn't see any weakness I just only saw, like, his resilience and, like, his pace only, like, I thought, like, the amount of blood he was losing, the weaker he's going to get. But, like, he picked it up as each round was going on. And his pressure was, like, impressive to me. Like, it's, like, I don't think there's a better pressure other in recent times.
Beterbiev?
Yeah, I think Beterbiev is the best.
Golovkin?
Yeah, but he's not active.
What about
I'm saying right now. He's not active. Golovkin's not active. I'm talking about active fighters. Like, I think Canelo's a good pressure fighter, and I think Beterbiev's, that's all. But with Canelo, like, he has a lot of tools in his pocket, right? But Beterbiev, he's like a strong pressure. That's all he is. He's not gonna, like. And I've noticed his defense was pretty good last night. He wasn't getting. He was obviously getting hit, but he wasn't getting, like. He was pretty close range, and he was, like, moving his head a little. So I think that's, in my opinion, I think there's, like, this is the toughest fight for Canelo. Not no one else right now.
So Leaf Hound says Beterbiev has never fought a fighter like Canelo and has lack of experience. will hurt him against Canelo, while Canelo has already faced a guy like Beterbiev. Good point. That's a good point.
No, but Beterbiev, didn't he face that Ukrainian guy, the Lomas team? He was a pretty good fighter.
Govzik.
It was a unification fight. So like
Yeah,
he's facing
Govzik.
And he might face
Bivol.
who's the WBC belt holder?
Bivol, is it?
No,
Or
there's
is he
another
the
champion
WBO?
too.
He's got the WBC. Beterbiev's got the WBC.
But isn't there another champion?
Yeah, there is Joe Smith.
Yeah, I think he's scheduled to fight Joe Smith too.
Yeah, Joe Smith. Joe Smith is fighting Callum Johnson. So Joe Smith is busy at the minute. JM8AM84 says Canelo is too Iron Man at the moment. Yeah, he is. He's an Iron Man.
He's prime.
Usyk. So JM84 says Usyk could stop Canelo. Yeah, Usyk's too big,
I mean, like I'm sure Tyson Fury can stop Canelo too.
Yeah,
I feel like Wilder, like now people are just want Canelo to lose, so they just keep on like pushing him to like unrealistic matchups.
Steven, are you there, my man?
No, I think he's driving in like some farmland.
Yeah, no, I think Steven was there, but I think he's having difficulties at the minute.
Yeah.
Let Steven get his thing. So Beterbiev, so here but it said Beterbiev handled his first cut very well the other day. Yeah, he did handle his cut very well. You know, you got to give it you've got to give Beterbiev credit. He got through a very sticky situation, but I don't know. I'm not convinced with Beterbiev. It's a bit robotic. Ray, there's the link if you want to come on and give your take. Sign Cutter says Beterbiev is not complete as fighter as GGG. Beterbiev's biggest asset will be size and strength, not technically. I'd kind of agree with that. What do you think, EK, there?
Yeah, obviously, but like, yeah, that's my main issue is his Beterbiev size and his physicality, right? Not his like waist movement and not his footwork, obviously. So like, I really don't think like, I really can't see where Canelo's just gonna be walking him back on the back foot the whole fight. Maybe it might happen for 1 or 2 rounds or something, but like I don't see that. I think Canelo. The good thing about Canelo, he's a good counterpuncher, right? So maybe he'll have to like that's. I think that's what his game plan would be.
Yeah, I'd agree. No KP says I got Beterbiev over Canelo. I think his power is ridiculous. When he just touches his opponent with the right, even lightly, and it just destroys them, crazy power. I think people said that about Golovkin as well, didn't they, when Golovkin was fighting? But, you know, I don't know. Canelo's chin is like hitting a brick wall. There's not much reaction. He's just too tough. So, yeah, I don't really see anyone stopping Canelo. I'll be very surprised if Beterbiev could stop him, you know. I'd be shocked, if I'm totally honest, because Canelo's got some chin. I just don't see anyone stopping him. But, you know, anything's possible in boxing, right? Rafael says, it will be a war for sure if they fight. So we might see 2. Yeah. What do you think, EK? Might get 2 of them.
2 of the fights?
Yeah, so we may get a rematch.
No, that's like, that'll be... yeah, that's obviously always a possibility if it's a close fight. But if Canelo wins, I doubt.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah.
Unless it's a draw or Canelo loses, then there'll be a second fight. But not if Canelo wins.
Yeah. Joseph Torres says Canelo beats Beterbiev in a great fight. You know what? There's a lot of people that think Beterbiev beats Canelo, you know. There's a lot of people that I'm speaking to, like even you, EK, think that Beterbiev would beat him right now, right?
And I'm a huge fan of Canelo. Like I even flew to New York to watch one of his fights. Like he's my favorite fighter. I really like the guy. I like his personality. I like the way he carries himself, and I like his fighting style. But I just think like I'm not saying he's gonna lose 100%, but I'm saying like there's more of a possibility that Beterbiev like is gonna win. I'm not gonna be like, there's no way at all Canelo's gonna win. But I'm not going to be one of those guys that Beterbiev is going to get laid out or he's going to lose 100%. I think this is like 60-40, like something like that. I favor Beterbiev more.
Yeah,
only because I don't think Canelo can walk him down the whole fight. And that's what Canelo's doing to all of his opponents.
So yeah, Ray, I am watching the DAZN card. I just saw Zelfa Barrett fight, and I'm gonna then watch Chisora Parker. I've got it on TV on low volume, so yeah, I'm watching it. I am watching the Problem card, but yeah, I am watching the DAZN one. JM884 says Beterbiev has a nasty aura about him. What do you make of Beterbiev style though, EK? Do you think he's
I think it's where. No, I think like no, I think just boxing is all about styles, right? His styles works perfectly with him. Right. There's no way he can fight another way, and like he uses his attributes, his size, his he's a pressure fighter, and that's what he's gonna do. And I think it'll be a style versus like a counter puncher versus a pressure fighter. Because Canelo now is a pressure fighter because he's been pressuring all his last few opponents, right? He's the one coming forward, like stalking them, and the other people have to think twice, before they throw anything. And that mental pressure tires the other opponent down and makes them make mistakes. That's what Beterbiev does to other people. But all Beterbiev has his power, pressure, and his relentless, and his stamina is amazing. Like he doesn't slow down at all because he's from the mountains, like he's used to low oxygen. But yeah, I just feel like it's gonna be right now. I think that's Canelo's toughest fight. I don't see anyone else being a tough fight. Tougher fight.
So, Jovan says no, it's not an easy fight. Yeah, it's not an easy fight. I think we all agree. JM84 says you could see Brownie was shocked by how good Beterbiev was, how much of a tough man he is. Yeah, but did Brownie really have the power, EK, to really hurt Canelo? Did he really have
the pop? Obviously, yeah, of course he had pop, but like he's not like you can't compare him to what Beterbiev is. Like maybe he's above average than the rest of the champions, or but you know how Bivol isn't a strong puncher, but he uses his attributes as being slick and good for his volume and his footwork to his attributes. It's all about styles. You can't like look at George Foreman and expect him to box like Muhammad Ali and Muhammad Ali to box like Mike Tyson. Everyone has different styles. This is like a chess match, right? So Brown couldn't use his attributes to beat him because Beterbiev pressured him into staying on the ropes all the time because Beterbiev closed down all the escape routes to him, and all that pressure was like mentally fatiguing Brown. Killing his way.
Yeah. I hear you there. So it says here, Leafhound says it's going to be hard for Beterbiev to hit Canelo. What do you make of Canelo's slick style? Do you think it's going to be hard for Beterbiev to land shots? I don't know. I think Beterbiev can pierce Canelo's defense because Beterbiev will pressure him.
Yeah, and also, and I think Beterbiev is smart enough to know he doesn't have to hit Canelo flush. He might have to hit his arms, his elbows. He doesn't have to like wait for the one big shot. He's gonna just throw his hands, and he's gonna get countered too. And then maybe he'll, that's what Canelo get. Maybe Canelo hurts him too.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great fight if it does happen. One of the biggest fights in boxing, without question. I really want to see that fight. I really want to see that fight. I think it's the biggest fight in boxing. I do. I think it's one of the big. I think it's probably the biggest fight, most intriguing fight in boxing.
Since Beterbiev isn't as famous, I still think Wilder and AJ would do more numbers if they were to fight.
So?
Yeah, I think so. I think if Wilder and AJ were to fight in let's say UK, one of the big stadiums, I still think it'll do better numbers because with because of Beterbiev's popularity, not because of the fight. The substance of the fight is obviously better with Canelo and Beterbiev, but like I feel like more excitement, the more like pop culture. It'll be more for the culture of the other fight.
Happy Jarvie, how are you? Happy Jarvie?
Hey, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Just make sure that it doesn't echo. Like, take off your thing. Yeah, but that's fine. I think he's good now. What did you make of Beterbiev's performance yesterday?
I thought he looked like a monster, and I'm scared for Canelo.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how people see Canelo beating him.
Wow. There's a lot of Canelo fans that think he's gonna lose. I don't know. I'm not convinced, man. I'm not convinced.
But you know what? I thought about it overnight, and I'm listening to you a little bit, and I'm like, I could see Canelo will be the faster boxer, the faster fighter, and he'll move around, and he'll have to box against this guy. It'll be like the first fight against Triple G. He'll have to fight that way. He'll be forced to fight that way.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
Yeah, but
he can win. But he can outpoint. He can outpoint Beterbiev because Beterbiev is just slow. He's a monster, but he'll really have to catch you, track you down, and that's going to be hard for him to do.
Mm-hmm. Canelo's gonna have to fight like Lara.
Why are you guys not taking into account? Just say if Beterbiev walks forward and Canelo hits him with a right hand or hits him with a massive uppercut and staggers him and puts him out. I don't get why.
I just think Canelo can't get hit too many times by this guy.
Who? Beterbiev? I mean, who? Canelo
can't get hit too. He can't afford to get hit way too much. This guy's big. He's
big. He's big. I get that, but why can't Canelo hurt Beterbiev?
I don't know. I just thought he was slow against the last guy he fought at 175. He looked super slow. Canelo did. He looked heavy.
Kovalev. You mean against Kovalev?
Yes, against Kovalev. I thought he caught him with a lucky punch, and that's not taking credit away from Canelo, but I thought it was like a lucky punch, and he looked really slow, sluggish.
No, I think in that fight, Canelo knew he was gonna get him, so he was just like waiting for him to make a mistake to counter. But I think Beterbiev is just gonna be pressuring him all fight. I don't think Canelo's gonna put Beterbiev on the back foot like he has been his all.
Ray, what's going on, my man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you. I'm kind of like, there's a lot going on right now because I'm kind of watching the boxing and then I'm also concentrating here as well. So it's kind of like,
if Canelo can take the punches at cruiserweight, I wouldn't be as worried, but still, it's still kind of worrisome.
Yeah.
What you saying, man?
Say that again.
I said, what you saying? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's Lil Penny the other day was asking about you, you know. He was like, where's Ray? I don't see him anymore.
Well, tell him I'm asking of him too. I've just been busy. Just been busy.
Yeah. I'll let him know. He said he was gonna message you in the chat.
Right.
So you leave comments. So he said I saw him commenting, so I was gonna be messaged. I don't know if he did, but basically, yesterday I saw Beterbiev v Brown.
Yeah.
What did you make of Beterbiev's performance?
No, he got the job done. Imran. A lot of people thinking Brown would be a good opponent for him and give him a good test. And he got the job done and he stopped him in the 9th round, didn't he? So you can't take that away from him. I think the problem with Beterbiev is he needs to fight one of the big three at that weight. So Ramirez, Bivol, and let's just say Benavidez steps up because Benavidez is really a light heavyweight. So he needs to fight one of those three and then cement his status. I think he's going through this phase a bit like Golovkin did, where he's stopping people emphatically, but they really are. His performance started to look a bit lackluster because the opponents aren't giving him. Even if he fights Joe Smith Jr., I think that'll stop giving people the respecting his ability, because Beterbiev and Bivol are very, very good fighters and they can be very, very tricky opponents for Canelo because of the attributes that they have. But because the performances so far, like I've just been speaking to a good friend of mine, called Norbin, and Norbin was saying that he didn't think Bivol's last two performances were good, but what I was saying was his opponents have been quite poor really, and he's just course at the 12th round decisions. So he needs to be in with somebody like a Beterbiev, somebody like a Joe Smith Jr. again, bring out the best of him, and then you'll see what these guys have got.
Yeah. I think I would love to see Canelo v Beterbiev, but EK made a strong point. Like EK is a big Canelo fan. You know, Happy Jarvis a big Canelo fan, and they're actually picking Beterbiev maybe to slightly edge. I think they're all Happy Jarvis said, "I'm not saying Canelo can't win, but I think I'll be very worried as a Canelo fan for against Beterbiev." I think a lot of people have that kind of notion that they think that Beterbiev might beat him. I know you think that as well.
Yeah. I do, Imran.
I'm still not convinced. I don't know. It's just that, you know what, at the minute, when you see a monster like Canelo and he just looks so unbeatable in the sense that like he's just beating everybody and you just don't think he can be beat. But that's the thing. Like, until someone actually, it's like when it got with Mayweather where you just thought this guy's never gonna get beat. He's never going to get beat, like he can lose until someone actually shows it can happen, right? You're just not going to believe it.
Well, Mayweather took care of, calculated his fights. That's why he wasn't beat.
Well, you could argue the same with Canelo. You could argue,
but he was great. But he was great though. Mayweather was great. I'm not taking any credit away from him. He's one of the greatest ever. But he did take care of his hero.
No, like Canelo's like all of his opponents in 168 were prime champions. They weren't like older or like.
But Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant aren't exactly a threat to him, are they?
Caleb Plant were like, but that's not like that. Canelo made them ineffective.
They wouldn't have troubled him at all. They wouldn't have. You don't walk. It's not like Mayweather's opponents where they stand alone as great fighters. Miguel Cotto stands alone as a good fighter. Canelo stands alone as a good fighter. Maidana stands alone as a good fighter. All these people stand alone as good fighters. Nobody says that about Caleb Plant. Nobody says that about Billy Joe Saunders. Look at Billy Joe Saunders and who he fought to get where he was.
Yeah, but Canelo's the only one with a great resume, so like it's not his fault. Other champions have weak resumes.
That's exactly my point. Canelo stands alone in essentially one of the weakest 168 divisions I've ever seen.
Canelo stands alone with all the resumes of most boxers today.
Not too sure. So in this era or what? Because you're saying in most boxers. So what are you comparing them to?
Today, like in like Canelo's like today. In boxing, Canelo has the best resume. If you want to compare resumes, no one's gonna
really.
Have the same
so he's got better resume than Anthony Joshua, yeah.
Way better.
Way better. How?
What do you mean? Wow. Like Anthony.
Well,
Joshua
you said it's way better.
Fights.
So I'm saying you said it's way better. So go on, explain.
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Only has like a few. He has like not even the same amount of fights, and Canelo's faced way more champions than Anthony Joshua. And Canelo has more KOs than like Anthony Joshua has fights.
KOs isn't what makes a resume, is it?
What else?
It's a fighters that he's fought. The belts that he's accumulated. So it doesn't matter about the knockouts or then you can see.
That's what resumes are numbers.
All right. Like, so in that case, you'll be saying Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. has got the best resume of all time.
No, Ray.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray, because he had like 500 fights, some shit like that. I'm exaggerating, but I'm saying he's a. That's regarded the best boxer in history.
Yeah.
I'm just exaggerating.
You're wrong there. I know what you mean about Canelo. But what I would say is, in terms of Canelo, right? He's
a better overall fighter, Anthony Joshua?
He's fought Caleb Plant. He's fought Caleb Plant, which was a gimme fight, really. He fought Billy Joe Saunders. That was also a gimme fight. Yeah. So that 168 division was there for the taking. We'll see how good Canelo is, and I love Canelo as a fighter. I'll tell you that. But to go and start talking about cruiserweights when you've got people like Benavidez, Zurdo Ramirez, Bivol, Beterbiev. If he cleans up 175, then I would agree with you. But
all right, then who has Zurdo Ramirez fought? If you beat him, you have to use the same logic.
no, it doesn't matter about who he beat. Zurdo Ramirez was a good sturdy test for him at 175. Is he not?
But how can you know that if you don't know who they fought? Because you just used that with Callum Smith and Billy Joe. You just said like who has he fought to get you there.
Callum Smith was the Ring Magazine champion. He won.
No,
He
but
won
you said
the
that about
world.
Billy Joe.
That's
Billy Joe, right?
him. I said Billy Joe and Caleb. I didn't mention Callum Smith for that reason.
Yeah, and also AJ hasn't fought like the top 3 out of the top 3. He hasn't fought. Someone just wrote in the comments he hasn't fought.
Yeah, that's
either
true.
Wilder or Fury.
Wilder,
He's fought Usyk though. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but he fought Usyk though.
Yeah, I give him
He
that.
didn't fight Wilder. He didn't fight Fury. But then you could also put the same thing with Fury. He only fought Wilder, and he's only defended his belt once. Anthony Joshua has defended his title far more than that, and that's what being a champion's all about.
Ray, what I mean is, what I'm trying to get to. Are you saying that Anthony Joshua has a better resume than Canelo?
In terms of it, his weight class, yeah. In terms of his notable opponents, yeah.
No, but like overall, like when you look at how many weight classes Canelo's gone up and the opponents that he's faced, you think
no, because obviously.
Where's Ray gone?
Damn, man, this guy was like, there's no way Anthony Joshua's resume is better than.
I don't know where Ray's gone. Where's he gone? Oh, he's been cut off. What are you, Little Penny? How are you? No KP. Is that you, No KP?
Hey, Imran, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Imran, just to answer that question, man, that's a good question. Who's got a better resume, Joshua or Canelo? That's a good one. It's close. I'm gonna give it to Canelo though. I think Canelo's probably got a better resume. Because
what, you actually think it's close? Like,
yeah, because but I do think Canelo has a better resume though. But because AJ, man, he fought what? He fought Klitschko, he fought Dillian White, he fought who else did he fight? He fought Ruiz.
yeah, he's got a good resume. To be fair.
Yeah, he's got a good resume if you want those fights. If you want all those fights, you can't you can't keep losing.
Guys, who's got the TV on? I can hear someone's TV. Oh, it's better now.
And today, there's like no one has a closer resume. No one can compare their resume to.
AJ has kind of faded away.
Yeah, he hasn't got that same aura now, has he?
Yeah,
AJ.
I think Canelo is he's more known than Joshua at this point.
Oh, not in England.
Not in England, no. Guys, who's
because
got
in
the
the United States, I barely know
television?
Joshua.
Guys, whoever's got the TV on, can you put your volume down? I'd appreciate if you put your volume down. I can't hear it.
Because if you compare AJ's opponents, by the way, AJ's got Parker as well, who he beat. It's quite comparable. Like you could with the exception to Triple G, right? If you take say Triple G and maybe if I can compare maybe a Klitschko, like to in AJ side. After that, it's pretty much comparable. Because let's face it, Cotto was washed, dude. Even though Cotto beat a
wasn't
super
Klitschko washed?
Sorry?
Wasn't Klitschko was washed, wasn't he?
No, in that fight he wasn't.
Not. I mean, like he put up a good performance, but like you can't tell me a 42-year-old Klitschko who didn't fight again was not like he wasn't prime. Carl wasn't washed, mate. Carl put in a great performance that fight. That was close.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
that
did.
Was
but Imran in heavyweight.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get you. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Plus, you can't. I think some people compared that fight with Fury, where he put on a crappy performance, but that's because Fury was very defensive and he kept on.
That was a stinker, Little Penny. That was
it was a stinker. Yeah, but then when he fought an offensive fighter, it was one of the best heavyweight fights we've ever seen, right? And he knocked down AJ too, to the point where that took out a lot of AJ. Like after that fight, AJ really wasn't the same. So
Ruiz fight? Are you guys talking about the Ruiz?
No, Klitschko fight. He's talking about the Klitschko. Yeah, because I agree. Actually, I agree with Little Penny because after that, Joshua became quite gun shy. After that, don't you think?
No, he became gun shy after Ruiz.
No, but he got
Klitschko. I think Klitschko
it was after Ruiz. It was after Ruiz. I thought he got humiliated by Ruiz.
Yeah, no, he got humiliated. Don't get me wrong. He got humiliated, and that was the break of the iceberg. But against Klitschko, if you look at it, he became more a safety first fighter after that. So after Ruiz, his confidence was completely shot to bits. But
his mind was never the same after Ruiz.
Yeah.
HJ, what Imran is saying that after Klitschko, AJ fought what's his name? AJ fought Parker, and he was really gun shy in that fight.
Ray, have you got the television on? Ray, have you got the television on?
He's watching the fight.
Ray?
He can't hear you. He's got the television on.
Ray, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Would you be able to put the volume down? I can't hear. Like.
Trying to stand his ground. Close quartering stages here.
Imran, you're gonna get copyright. Hey, Imran, you're gonna get copyrighted soon.
It's better.
Yeah.
Hey Ray, how are you, man? Long time no see.
Yeah, how you doing, Penny? You okay?
Yeah, man. What's been happening,
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Hey, who's E? We haven't heard from E yet. Who is he?
He's EK. He was speaking with Ray earlier. You missed it.
Oh, okay.
He was talking to you as well just a minute ago.
Oh, was it? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I think what Canelo's doing at 175 is video game stuff. I think he's taking a huge risk at cruiserweight and at 85, at 175. He's taking a huge risk.
Imran, that's the point I was making before, Imran. Like, he can't just go to cruiserweight and then people can start saying, oh, he's one of the greatest of all time. I respect his ability, I do, but there's too many fighters at 175. He just can't afford to bypass. And I worry that he's going to be called a cherry picker if he just misses them out at light heavyweight.
But why is that? He fought 4 times last year. He can fight once at cruiserweight, then come back to 175. He can fight twice next year.
It doesn't matter when. He just needs to fight the boys at light heavyweight. He just can't afford. He just can't afford to miss them out.
But maybe that's a tactical thing by his team, right? To go out after the bigger guys, so they'll put fear in the other guys at 175. Like he knocked out someone from cruiserweight, then like maybe it's like tactics.
Well, why? Okay, so why doesn't he not fight the guys at 175 first?
Maybe it's just tactics. I'm not in his team.
Well, he did that. He did that before.
It's logical to go to 175.
He did that with 175 too, right? He went to
yes. So that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to clean out the 175, and if he does it, to me, if he wasn't the king before, he will be after that.
Guys,
what 175?
Yes, if he cleans out 175, those guys are monsters.
He's not going to clean up 175.
I know they're monsters. I'm just saying if he does. If he does, in my eyes, he'll be one of the greatest ever.
I would agree. It's such a big task. I would agree.
He's super small. He's like,
by the way,
I don't know, like
Imran. Have you heard Christian after the plant fight?
Yeah, we speak. He came on as well. We speak all the time on Messenger. Yeah, so Christian
what was his like? He was very strong for plant.
Let me get no KP and he wanted to make a point. Go on, what's going on, bro? You good?
All right, yeah, I'm just sitting here listening to you guys. I was just saying, in terms of Beterbiev, technically, he's managed to box against Usyk in the amateurs. I know the amateurs are nothing like the professional, but technically he's done well against very good fighters. And if he pressures Canelo, because I mean, you look at the first Triple G fight, and I think Canelo didn't realize what type of power Triple G was actually bringing, so he was uncomfortable, and I think that played into his stamina mentally. And I think in the second fight, he realized he could walk Triple G down and take more risks. Whereas this Beterbiev is at the minute he's looking like a monster. So he don't know what he's going into in this fight.
You know what would be a great fight? Zordo versus Beterbiev.
Guys, you won't be able to walk through Beterbiev.
Penny, just a quick one. No, KP just made his point there. Do you think Canelo beat?
So, Imran, can you repeat that?
Do you think Canelo beats Beterbiev? I think you said he did. He would, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That fight against
Beterbiev.
Marcus Brown.
Yeah,
that was
Brown,
a pretty good performance, even though he got a gash, right? Yeah. And man, he looked big too, man. Man, if you put him in there, Canelo looks like a midget. Gash. And he looked like Canelo would look like a midget. I don't know. It would be
exactly, Lil Penny. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Canelo cannot hurt him. Canelo cannot hurt him.
Who would you hurt
him to the face?
Little Penny.
I can't answer that, man. Not yet. It's I think it's a 50-50.
Yesterday, I swear you said Canelo.
He's gonna have to go to the body a lot.
I swear I seen you put something that you think that Canelo will decision him, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, he can beat him by points. He can outpoint him.
It's going to be a tough ass to outpoint him though, because he's got to stay perfect for 12 rounds.
Yeah, guys, what do you think Canelo can hurt Beterbiev or no? No, KP, what do you think? Can Canelo hurt?
The thing is, I want to talk about his power, and in terms of power, him, Stevenson, it doesn't matter if you've got a good chin. If they connect and it's clean, it's troubling the toughest chin. Like, I remember Stevenson, when he landed, it doesn't matter what type of chin you've got. If he landed that straight left, it's night. And I think,
but he is slow.
Beterbiev got the same type of power.
Canelo can avoid him for like half the fight, and then he'll lose his power a little bit.
But he doesn't look like he does.
Beterbiev did not lose. He lost half of his blood, and he kept on like he kept.
And I think
I'm just trying to give Canelo hope.
I think going into the Canelo fight, he's going to put a lot of pressure, and that mental pressure of him coming forward, it could drain Canelo, and Canelo could be really tired after 5 or 6 rounds.
You know what? I just realized we're not talking about something. An aspect of Canelo fight is like, you know, the massive 75,000 fans, you know, the aura of a huge, massive fight. Every time Canelo fights is like when it's like similar to when AJ fights in the UK, you know, the massive stadiums like filled. Like maybe mentally that could get to Beterbiev because he's never fought it. Like, you know, the sense of a huge fight, you know, like the most important fight of his life, you know, maybe that could get to him.
I remember when Danny Garcia fought that Matisse, and I thought Matisse was going to beat him. And I think on another night he would have, but I think the occasion actually got to him.
Yeah.
It might be like that, but I just
lost that fight. I thought that was a robbery, like most people know.
Yeah, I thought Matisse had done it, but
but obviously
it was close.
Now, dude, Danny Garcia got the knockdown, and that was probably the difference. I was at that fight, by the way.
Was it?
But you know what? Sometimes is a bit worrying to me, and no one really brings this up. Sometimes Canelo gasses out at the end of the fight when his opponent is really good. I don't know if you noticed in that first Triple G fight, Canelo gassed out. And Beterbiev doesn't gas out and is twice as strong as Triple G. So I think it's a 50-50 fight. I may have written that Canelo would win by decision, and I may have written that in duress. but
that's
dude. Gas out, but he did gas out in that first fight, but he had the wrong game plan.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. That's a good
And
adjustment.
also, like, based on like Canelo is a very smart fighter. His volume of punches has gone. He's more selective with his shots and his movement as his career has gone on. So now, like, you never see him get tired in the later rounds. Now he's actually because he's more selective. He's finishing his opponents, but not obviously 175 is a different beast.
But you'll notice the same thing with AJ. When the opponent can damage him really bad, it's that mental pressure. And the first fight against Triple G, he just didn't know what type of if he could take, because everybody was talking up Triple G's power.
But didn't Canelo move up to fight Triple G?
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at Canelo. Like now he moved even further up, and like 168. That's crazy. I wish Triple G was more active and he was fighting. Like, that would have been a great third fight if Triple G was fighting.
But is his improvement like how we think that he's improved so much? Is it because of the opponents that he's faced? Like, I'll give you an example. When Pacquiao fought Marquez the second time, everyone thought that it was a draw or a slight Pacquiao win, or a very small Pacquiao win. And then he went into a whirlwind, right? And he demolished everyone at 135, 140, and 147. And everyone thought, oh my God, Pacquiao has like improved so much. He fights Marquez, and Marquez nearly beats him. That same Marquez at 130. So that told me that Pacquiao actually didn't improve. It just showed how good Barrera, Morales, and Marquez was. So that's what I'm saying.
No, that could be Styles making fights, though, little Penny.
Yeah, 100%.
That could be Styles making fights.
Maybe
in terms of Canelo, this is what Christian was trying to say, that Canelo's avoided a specific style of fighter. So the best way to see how far Canelo's improved is to fight somebody, if you can. I don't think there's anyone out there as close to Floyd Mayweather as possible, as close to a pure boxer as possible. Then we'll see how well Canelo has improved. In my opinion, he's improved tenfold. But somebody like Christian will argue, until he faces somebody who's got a similar skill set to Mayweather, a pure boxer, then no. Then he hasn't improved.
Floyd is like 1 in a million years.
I think that comes down to Styles making fights.
And someone,
to be honest, I think the style that gives him problems is Beterbiev or GGG, that type of style. Not so sure there's going to be anyone as good as Floyd out there.
No one's ever going to be
someone
No, there isn't, but that's because he's lost to Floyd. The argument will be, well, he struggles with that style. So unless he faces somebody who can replicate that style as near enough as well, how well has he improved? That's the argument.
If you're talking about the same style, he has faced thick boxers after that, but not as good as Floyd, obviously.
See that again?
Someone made a point that Canelo looked really sluggish when he fought Kovalev, and he was actually getting outboxed in that fight.
Well, he was down on the scorecards, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he was down on the scorecards.
He was losing. But now I know fight. I know it don't work out, but Beterbiev, Kovalev didn't want to fight Beterbiev, where they tried to make that fight long time ago. And
you guys remember the guy who knocked out Kovalev, the Alvarez guy, the black dude? I forget his full first name. Kovalev got knocked out by that guy.
Andre Ward.
No,
Alvarez. Oh, Boo. Something Boone, I think.
He avenged that fight, though.
Yeah, he avenged it, but he got hit with an uppercut.
Yeah. I think if he's still around, maybe Canelo should fight him before. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much done now. I think he hasn't fought in a long time.
Yeah.
The Colombian guy.
Honestly, there's a lot of fighters at 175. Even Bivol is a good fight for Canelo.
I'm not sure, guys, but I don't know if I've seen him. I've seen him fight. I might be just thinking it, but I don't know if he fought that heavyweight boxer. What's his name? Joey Joyce, or is that someone else?
Usyk, I don't. Usyk fought him
in the amateurs.
Yeah, that was Usyk.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it was Usyk, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Joyce is like so slow, man. That guy is like robotic.
Joe Joyce. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's slow as molasses. Really
but he
slow.
can take a punch though.
Oh yeah, he's strong and he can take a punch. Yeah, but yeah,
But
quality.
Canelo don't have to move up. He can fight. He can fight that a few guys at super middleweight.
Yeah, you can.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah.
I think 2 days ago we were speaking about Canelo's resume. Like, if he cleans out the 175 division and beats Makabu, is that resume good enough to be mentioned in the same bracket as Pacquiao, Mayweather? What do you think?
Yeah, I would say definitely. You can't argue with that. If he's undisputed at 6'8", and becomes undisputed at 75, and he wins a world title at £200, of course, absolutely. Because Mayweather and Pacquiao, for a start, were never undisputed. So if he becomes undisputed in 2 weight classes, in at 5'8" or 5'9" or whatever he is, to win a world title at £200 against a WBC champion, you've got.
Yeah, but Ray, to become undisputed, does it matter who you wouldn't it matter who you fight in?
No. Listen, little Penny. If that was the case, you got to remember, in this sport, there's only been undisputed champions in a modern era. So if that was the case, you want to be undisputed, but it's not. It's a very difficult feat to do. I know I've just said about 20 minutes ago, the caliber of opponents at 168 isn't the same as when Calzaghe was there, was when Froch was there, when Andre Ward was there. It's not. I think everyone on this panel there would agree. But if somebody's undisputed in 2 weight categories, that's a great achievement. It's the same with Clarissa Shields. So you can't tell me if he cleans up 175 and £200, he shouldn't be sporting in the same breath as Mayweather and Pacquiao. Of course he should be.
Yeah, okay, so what about Mayweather's not going to like that.
Do you think Andre Ward will come back? Do you think Andre Ward will come back to fight Canelo?
Hang on, Penny was saying something. Mayweather's not going to what?
What you were saying before, like, makes sense, but Mayweather's not going to like that, man. He's going to go. He's going to apewalk on social media.
Who cares? Mayweather, he's not active no more. He's not relevant no more. He's supporting Tank. It's what. It's what.
Hey, if Rare Breed is on the line, can you get him on so that he can cancel what Ray is saying?
I don't. Well,
who's on the line?
Rare Breed.
I don't think
Rare Breed's got a really good points with Mayweather, and everyone respects Rare Breed here, but Rare Breed would counter that argument, Ray.
Yeah, I have a question.
Well, what if you could try to slip? I'm not too sure whether it would hold weight, little Penny, because as great as Mayweather is, I think you would find anyone who kind of knows anything about boxing would know that if somebody's undisputed in 2 weight classes and then wins one at £200 where they've got no business being that, because then what you can say is Canelo fought everyone. So he would have beaten Beterbiev, he would have beaten Bivol, he would have beaten Joe Smith Jr. So he wouldn't have avoided anybody. He would have come at all challenges and won a world title. Can you say that same argument, little Penny, about Mayweather? No, you can't. So that cancels out your little mate's argument there.
Do you guys?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go on. So I got a question. So what if Beterbiev fights Bivol, beats him, gets 3 belts, gets all the belts, and then Canelo beats one fighter at 175 with all the belts and becomes undisputed? It's different than what he did.
I think that's fair.
It's different than what he did at 168. You know, here he beat champion after champion after champion. Do you think beating an undisputed champion like that is less than beating all the champions?
Yeah, I think that would be fair, because it's not fair for Canelo to have to fight everybody at 175. It's about time these guys start fighting each other. Canelo's already cleaned out a whole division easily in less than a year. It's time for these guys to fight each other, do the hard work, and then let Canelo fight the winner for the undisputed.
Okay, that's fair enough, but then you could say that about middleweight, and you could say that about judo divisions. There's a reluctance for them to fight each other. It's because Canelo brings a lot of money. So for that reason, you could argue Canelo's his own worst enemy. He brings a lot of money for his opponents. Beterbiev doesn't really bring that much money for Bivol. That's a fight for the purists, but for the casual fans, it's not really the fight. They want him to fight Canelo because Canelo brings them money. That's the problem.
Do you think it would be a fight of two halves? Like, for instance, if say Beterbiev does manage to hurt Canelo, do you think it would change the way the fight would go? Imran, you know how you're saying Canelo's going to win.
Yeah.
If he was to hurt Canelo, do you think later on he wouldn't be able to finish Canelo? Or do you think Canelo would be able to?
Beterbiev is a very, very good finisher. So if he hurt Canelo, I think he would finish him.
Yeah, I agree.
In that first
the
triple
question
G
is
fight,
that
did he not get
Canelo
hurt?
doesn't like hurt, you know? Hey,
Man, Canelo's got to jump to get to Beterbiev's face. That guy looks like an NBA player, like NFL.
I get what you're saying, but I can't go off. I can't go like if we go off Canelo's career, right? He's never been hurt apart from when he was like what 16, 17, like Cotto's brother. He's fought everyone. He's fought guys like Golovkin, and Golovkin hit him with big shots. And I don't agree with someone said that. I don't know who was it that Beterbiev's 2 times stronger than Golovkin. I don't agree with that at all.
No, because of his weight, obviously.
Golovkin's strong, and Golovkin's got a better chin than Beterbiev as well. He's much more durable. He's a beast. You know, Beterbiev's been down. He's been hurt and put down. But Golovkin, in his amateur career or pro, has never even been wobbled or hurt or even anything. So no one can argue about Golovkin's chin or Golovkin's toughness. It doesn't matter about whether the guy's bigger. Yeah, I think Golovkin could beat Beterbiev in his prime. The one that was cleaning everyone out. Yeah, he could. He's never been hurt. Didn't he put Kovalev down when Kovalev was in his prime?
Who?
Golovkin.
Yeah, he put
he never fought in Big Bear.
Sparring is different. Yeah. Sparring is different.
That's even worse though, with a body shot.
Anyone can go down with a body shot. Like,
but I think this guy's power is just on another level. I think it's like for a light heavyweight, it's comparable to some of the great light heavyweights.
The only reason Beterbiev is harder and more severe puncher than Triple G is because he's 175 and Triple G is 160.
I would agree with that.
Because of his body mass is so big. Like, he literally looks like
Imran, I'm going to say this to you. I think you're underestimating Beterbiev here. I think you're underestimating his power. I think there's too much about, he doesn't have a good chin and all his carry on. What you got to remember is when Beterbiev hits people, they stay hit. You
can see the shock on their faces. The same shock that Triple G was getting at 160 is happening for him as well at 175. And I just think he would have been a handful for nearly all the light heavyweights.
But you know, I'll give Canelo one thing. Canelo's countering skills is like 10 times better than Beterbiev's. Canelo can counter like no one.
I know. There's a good chance that he walks forward, like Imran said, and gets hit with something huge,
like a
wobbled and then
3-punch combo.
Yeah, but I just think
he's really good at that.
I think he's an animal.
Yeah, I think Beterbiev is just going to be too strong. That's my opinion.
It could look like Cotto Margarito, but he's a lot better than Margarito with the pressure and everything.
Oh, I love that fight. That first fight. That was an old school fight. That was like Ronnie Lyle versus.
Steven's just sitting there.
Steven. I didn't.
Yes, sir.
We didn't having connection issues earlier, but you were making a point about Canelo Beterbiev. You were saying that something about Beterbiev being robotic a little bit, and you were saying that I said something about Beterbiev being robotic. Go on. Finish off what you were saying.
Yeah, man. First of all, man, that thing was hating on me something terrible, man. I think one of your subscribers poisoned my phone with the virus because, man, I couldn't get on, man. I couldn't get on at all, man.
Hey, Steve, it was that guy. Steve, it was that guy who said that you were a moron. The guy,
I don't know. I've been called a moron a lot of times on here. It's a bunch of guys. Nah, man, but on the real, man, I think, man, I wanted to make a point about Bivol because, man, out of the 175 pounders, man, I think he don't get as much props as he should, man. I think if you really want to be honest about it, if you were to put a truth serum in me and have me tell the truth, I'm gonna say that Bivol is he's the toughest out of all the 170 pounders, in my opinion. Now, as far as Canelo,
that's why I think Stephen knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows exactly what he's talking about, Stephen.
Yeah. But as far as Canelo versus Beterbiev, man, it's a matter of, to me, I'll just equate it like this: it's a matter of physics. It's a matter of anatomically breaking it down. Beterbiev is physically, he's the bigger, more imposing guy, and his style is one that's going to pressure Canelo to the brinks. And when he hits Canelo, it's not going to be like Caleb Plant hitting Canelo. It's not going to be like even Callum Smith hitting Canelo. Even Triple G. It's going to be like Beterbiev. Yeah, it's going to be like Beterbiev hitting him. And when he hit him,
Chechen mountains falling on you.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like LL Cool J said.
I think he is harder than Kovalev. In Kovalev. I think Beterbiev hits harder than Kovalev.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I don't know about that.
Not in his prime.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that Kovalev.
People.
Go on, Stephen. No, go on, guys.
No, I was gonna say that people seem to forget Kovalev was a bad dude, man.
Yeah,
that dude was dead. He was a killer back in the day, man.
He was a monster.
He was a straight killer.
Stephen, I remember when he came to the UK and he wiped out
Beterbiev.
Completely wiped him out.
4 rounds, man. It was 4 rounds.
And you know what? I actually think, I if I'm not mistaken, I actually believe the bookies had Kovalev the favorite in that fight, and everyone was like, who's this guy coming over and being made the favorite? But that's because no one really knew about him.
No one knew him, man. It was a dangerous fight when you look at it now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I remember.
Is there anyone on the channel that thinks Andre Ward won the first fight?
Boxer being carried back to their corner by the referee.
I think he beat Andre Ward the first fight.
Yeah, he did.
100%. Yes. I don't think I haven't met anyone that said Andre Ward won that fight.
You guys, Andre Ward did a lot of body work in
won
that
first fight. So there you go.
I got Andre Ward winning that first. I think the body work is what won him the fight. Yeah. And people don't look at the body work.
Come on.
Yeah,
and in the second fight, Andre Ward did a lot of low blows, like what Tito Trinidad used to do.
Yeah,
Lil Penny, who won the first fight? Kovalev or Ward?
Kovalev.
I got Kovalev in that first one as well. So Ray, you said Ward.
Yeah, he won.
He said Ward. EK, what do you think?
In the first fight, Kovalev, I think it was clear who won the first fight. It was Kovalev.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people thought Kovalev won the first fight.
And I ain't trying to.
Andre Ward got him in the second fight. He knocked him out.
And I ain't trying to bring. I ain't trying to keep bringing this point up, but Kovalev was really never the same after that first fight. I know I say it all the time, but after that first fight, Kovalev was never really the same. After that, they cheated him. They robbed him.
Yeah, because Steven, he lost not confidence, but he lost his
will,
because in that second fight, the way the contract was stipulated, I don't think he got any money at all. Like, I think Andre Ward took all of the money, and he knew that before the fight. So it's like, why? What the hell am I fighting in this?
What do you mean he took all the money?
I think the way that contract was stipulated, or the way it was written, I don't think Kovalev got the money that he wanted. And because of that, it played into his psyche, and he probably just gave up in the second fight.
Well, my understanding was that he wanted the guarantee. He didn't get guaranteed money. He wanted the gate receipts and the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't think it did well, right, Ray? In the second fight?
It didn't. But that's his choice. Any one of us would have went for the guaranteed income. It was his choice to go for the pay-per-view numbers and the numbers on the gate. And
he got that back when he fought Canelo, so it's all good.
I think Ward left just at the right time, because Beterbiev, I think he was working towards the mandatory shot, as well as people sleeping on Stevenson. So that Stevenson, personally, I think he would have beaten Cove.
Yeah, but he ducked
that's the fight
Kovalev.
I wanted to see. I want to see
5 years.
Kovalev on Stevenson.
Stevenson would have been too small.
Yeah, but he had the chance to fight Kovalev, but he ducked him for like 5 years. Like Kovalev wasn't he like his mandatory for a while?
No, it was going to go to the purse bids, and Cove didn't want it.
That Stevenson was a bad dude. What do you think, Steven?
His power was ridiculous.
Was a monster, mate.
That left hand was dynamite.
Yeah, that was a date.
But didn't he get
Hey,
you talking about Adonis?
Yeah, Adonis.
Didn't he knock out Chad Dawson in a round?
Yeah. If he lands that left hand,
killer, Steven.
If he lands that left hand, it doesn't matter what chin you got.
You know that left hand. I remember when he fought Bellew and he knocked Bellew out with the. Oh, mate, that was. That guy was good, man. I rated that
it was sad what
Emmanuel Stewart.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad. Yeah, definitely.
It was sad. Emmanuel Stewart said Stevenson had frightening power. Absolutely frightening.
Guys, I have to leave.
I mean, he was quite small in stature for a light heavyweight, wasn't he?
Okay, man. I'll see you later, man.
And if I don't see you guys here, you guys again.
Yeah, he was short in stature, but he just the power. It didn't matter.
No. What's going on? Tito, I think I think it was Cito's connection. What's going on? Yeah, so basically what I was saying, I'll see you later, Ray. I'm watching it as well.
See you later, boys. See you.
Hey, it was nice talking to you, man. I miss you, dude.
Yeah, I miss you too, man. I miss you too. Hopefully I'll see you on before Christmas, yeah?
Yeah. For sure.
Right. See you later, lads. See you.
Take care.
All right.
Take care.
Is Ray watching the Jake Paul fight?
No, the Joseph Parker one and the
Chisora.
Chisora.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is, what were we on then? What were we talking about? Stevenson, Stevenson. What do you make of Stevenson guys, man? What a fighter. I used to rate that guy very, very, very.
I think Andre Ward avoided him. That's another guy that I think Andre Ward avoided that chap, and they were trying to get that fight made as well. And Stevenson was willing to fight some of these guys, top guys, but they just didn't want to fight him. And you can understand the risk. One mistake, just like Wilder, but he could set that right. He could set it up really well, the left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is with Stevenson, he was the biggest puncher apart from Wilder, the biggest one puncher in the game. And he also had a better delivery system than Wilder, so he was more skilled boxer than Wilder.
You know who he reminded me a lot of?
Who?
Antonio Tarver.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Tarver but with more power.
Yeah, he definitely, yeah. Tarver knocked Roy Jones clean out, Ray. I mean, Stevenson. I'm Steven.
Yeah.
But
getting muddled up now with all these names.
Roy Jones was finished then. He had lost that weight. He weren't the same fighter. And that proved it the following fight when he got knocked out by Glenn Johnson.
You know what really...
Fellas, Roy Jones... Go ahead. I'm sorry, Penny. I'm sorry, Penny.
Steve, you know what really got me? Roy Jones was the clear A side to that Antonio Tarver fight, right? I mean, Antonio Tarver didn't even have any leverage or anything, none whatsoever, right? So why didn't Roy Jones put that fight at cruiserweight rather than go all the way down to light heavyweight?
He wanted to do it for history. He wanted to do it for history. He was trying to come back down and do the first.
Dude, like Roy Jones didn't he weigh like 202 pounds or something against Ruiz, and then to lose more than 25.
He put it up in muscle, and there's something like your brain carries water, and when you lose the weight, the water, obviously there's not much watching there. So when you get hit,
yeah.
and
But credit to him, he did win that first fight, right? Credit to him.
If he had retired after that first fight, his legacy would have been something else.
Yeah. I think he's.
I mean,
he's
you know what, man?
You go, Steve.
You know what? You know what, man? I'm gonna say it like this, man. Roy Jones Jr., when he was functioning and when he was active, that cat was the best physical specimen, boxing pugilist I ever seen, man. Ever seen.
Yeah.
Best head-to-head fighter of all time, I think.
Yep. Better than Mayweather in his prime.
Might not be the greatest in terms of achievements, but if you go head-to-head, I think there's some fighters that might have beat him, but overall, I just think he stands out.
Yeah, I agree. Max Kellerman said that too. He said in terms of the prime fighter, he thinks that Roy Jones was better than Floyd.
Yes.
In terms of prime.
Yeah.
But guys, I'm a bit with Roy in his prime, which was late 90s, early 2000s. I'm a bit peeved of him because he didn't fight. He didn't give Bernard Hopkins the rematch, and that was the fight that everyone wanted to see. Even HBO wanted to see that fight, right? Because they were doing some cross promotion whenever they fought on different cards, and Roy didn't want to do it for some reason.
Roy did say 60-40. He was the star. He already beaten Bernard. If he had accepted that 60-40, that fight would have been made. This is the same thing that's going on with Crawford. But at the same time,
mate, what about the rematch with James Toney? He didn't take that one either.
And that would have been a tough fight.
That would have been a hell of a fight. But Roy was just beginning his prime there. When he got up.
Go on, go on, no, KP, finish off what you were saying.
No, what I was going to say is the guy there, Montel Griffin, he had said he sparred with Mayweather, and Roy Jones was just even faster than Mayweather. He gave that, and I mean, to be that fast at that weight, do you know what I mean?
You know that rematch with Montel Griffin. Have you guys seen the post-fight interview with him and with Roy Jones and what's his name? Who's that old guy from HBO? I thought that was
Larry
Merchant. Yeah, Larry Merchant. Where Roy got really angry at Larry Merchant. That was hilarious.
I didn't want to have to do it, but tonight I talk tonight.
I talk tonight. Yeah, we talk tonight.
Guys, you know what I want to ask you about?
I talk tonight.
You guys, you know what I want to ask you about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, because I know Stephen wants to talk about this. Stephen, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. What's going on here, man? What's going on here? Like, Leo Penny said in the comments section that he believes it should be a 50-50 split. I believe it should be a 50-50 split now as well, because Terence Crawford has proved himself.
Well, Errol's just said something today. Errol just said something today that just get the fight made.
Go on, Stephen. Go on.
No, I was trying to hear what you was gonna say, because I want to say something about that. Go ahead.
I've said my people. Who are you? What? No KP? You mean?
Oh, okay. So what were you saying? No KP?
I was saying today, Errol Spence. There's rumors that he just wants to get the fight made now, but at the same time, you've got to understand Errol's position. Terence Crawford's not even selling half the tickets. He's not selling as half the pay-per-views as Errol Spence. But at the same time, for the fans, they want to see it. So I think this fight will be made next.
Crawford ain't gonna accept anything less than 50-50. We know that. Yeah. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. Well, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Okay, in all honesty, I think Crawford, and I'm not saying this because I'm an Errol Spence fan. I'm not I swear to God, I'm not saying this for that reason. I'm saying that it seems like Terence Bud Crawford, he's playing games because you have this win of a Sean Porter, and then it emboldens you. You bold, and you feel zesty. You want to get out there. You want to get in the ocean and swim with the fishes and all that. But when it comes time to negotiate, you're not practical, and you don't have to split that money with Top Rank anymore. So you in all actuality, you be making more money than Earl Spence would. So why are you reneging? Why are you reneging? It's a bunch of games, man. I tell you, it's a bunch of games. And at this point, I'm just ready to move on from that whole saga because that's exactly what it is.
Steven, I reckon Crawford should take a 45-55 split. Like, don't I know he deserves a 50-50 because of his accomplishments, but because Errol has fought better fighters, I think he should accept a 45-55 split in Errol Spence's favor, so he can just get Errol in the ring, and then if he beats him, then he can command his own 60-40 against.
Here's the thing though. That stuff about Errol fighting better fighters don't wash now. It don't wash anymore because he fought Porter, who was Errol's toughest fight, and he beat him by stoppage. Do you know what I mean? So that don't wash anymore in terms of that better opponents because he beat Porter.
You keep saying it, Imran, but he didn't beat him by stoppages.
Oh, come on. On BoxRec. No. But on Steven, what does it say on BoxRec? What does it say on BoxRec?
Crawford normally has that advantage.
You can't. I know what you're saying, Stephen. I know what you're saying, but on when it's all said and done, it goes down as a TKO, a stoppage. So technically,
y'all know yesterday was Manny Pacquiao's birthday.
Yeah, it was.
But Southpaw versus Southpaw. I think Errol Spence. I think that people ain't seen him technically because I think at Southpaw versus Southpaw, you watch some of the Southpaws that Errol Spence's fought, and he's really technical against Southpaws. And Crawford normally starts orthodox, and then he switches up to Southpaw. He's not going to have that advantage. He's going to meet a natural Southpaw.
Well, they better hurry up and do whatever they got to do because I'll tell you what, you got guys like Speedy Rashidi Ellis and Jerron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. They coming up, man. And some of those guys they with the business, man. They kill us.
Spence needs to fight Spence and move up. I don't think. I don't want to see Spence fight Boots because if Boots beats him, it's not going to be nice for me. I think Spence has made his name. Fight Crawford and then move.
What happened to him?
I just think he should fight Crawford and then move up to 154. I don't want him to fight Boots. They're just coming up, and I think these guys need to prove themselves.
Hey guys, I'm worried about his eye, man. Bud Crawford's eye. I'm worried about that, man.
Can I say something real quick?
Go on.
All right, this is what I think should happen in boxing, man. Right now in boxing, and I've said this piece to Imran before, but right now in boxing, it's kind of disorganized, and it's a kind of like a free for all. So what should happen is, I think those the boxing organizations that run boxing and the belts, the WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF, and so forth, I think they need to merge, and they need to have stipulations. So, for instance, if you're in the welterweight division or the lightweight division or cruiserweight or whatever, there needs to be a ranking system that will prohibit you to move. Like what, say for instance, what Canelo's doing now. Canelo's just moving freely and about to in every weight division, picking his fights. He shouldn't be allowed to do that. You should be able to. There should be a system in place that won't allow you to maneuver without first conquering one weight class. There should be a stipulation. They could even do it like, you got to be in this weight class for say 12 months or 1.5 months or something. Something like that. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, but Steven, that makes too much sense, dude. In boxing, when things make too much sense, it won't happen. And the thing is, it's a great idea, Steven, but I don't think it'll happen because those organizations that you're saying, they're too independent and they've been in the boxing game for so long. I don't think like Jose Suleiman and you know the guy from WBA and the guy from WBO, I don't think they're gonna merge, man. I don't because they want their own money. They want their own sanctioning fees.
Also, fighters will just give up the belts.
Yeah. I wish it would be like that, Steven. Like, or even like they could do like back in the old days. Remember when they had when the 160 was unified with Bernard Hopkins, William Jappy, Tito Trinidad. You know when they had that tournament, man, that was sick. You know what I mean? Man. That was a really good idea, and I think they even had the Super 6 with Andre Ward. I think that was with
they did. Yeah, Andre Ward Super 6. He won that, didn't he?
Yeah, he won it, man.
Yeah.
That's why I really can't front on Andre SOG Ward because he was a killer, man. And when that tournament happened, man, I remember vividly, going through the motions and watching that tournament, and I wasn't really high on Andre Ward because I thought he was a flake. But my brother, man, he was like,
IQ, man. He's got some serious IQ.
Man, yeah, my brother was like, man, that dude with the business, man. He with the business, but you gotta check him out. And sure enough, he won it, man. And I was like, man, this is what boxing really needs.
I wanted to see him fight Andre Ward, Durrell. Andre Durrell.
Andre Durrell.
Yeah. And because the reason I wanted him to fight Andre Durrell because I knew Andre Ward was going to be the next thing, and I just wanted him to fight Durrell just to see how he would have fared stylistically against Roy Jones. I just wanted to, and he could have possibly beaten Ward.
But did he retire prematurely a little bit? Don't you think?
Possibly. I think he saw there were some killers coming up like Beterbiev, Canelo.
Yeah.
And he thought.
And I think Beterbiev was the mandatory coming up to be a mandatory for his belt. He got out just at the right time.
It's not like Andre Ward got 50 million for any of those fights. You know what I mean? He didn't get any next generation wealth. And I was really surprised that he retired like so early. His legacy could have been even better.
Yeah, but the problem is the guys he's at that weight, they just need to land once. Because Andre Ward gets into it. He gets into it. And if you're getting clipped by these big punches, Ward was a 168 pounder. These guys they're coming down from 190.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, he's a little bit cheeky though, Andre Ward. Like he can't. It's hard to catch him, but when you do, because I think didn't Kovalev put him down in the second round?
He did.
Yeah.
But Kovalev was a killer, man. Kovalev was a monster.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, in and out of the
that, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's why, and that's why Canelo gets a lot of flack from people because a lot of the fighters he was fighting, man, they were shells of their old selves. You can't pay me to think that Canelo could compete with old school Kovalev. That dude was Kovalev.
Yeah, because you got to just look at the out of prime Kovalev, what he did.
Yeah,
But
you know the thing is though, Stephen, I think Canelo gets a bit of a bad rap in the sense that I think Canelo's a beast, man. I think he could compete with anyone in the history. Like, I don't think anyone could say Canelo would just get blown out. Do you know what I mean?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's have a candid conversation about that.
Yeah. Go on.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Imran. I'm gonna let my feelings out. And I'm gonna put them on the table. I feel the same way you do about Canelo. I think Canelo could compete with anybody. I really do. But his moves, if you really want to put a truth serum in his moves are very, very suspect. They're sus. You know, you know, and you know, I don't really buy that when people say, "Oh man, he Canelo, man, he could do, you know, saying he could do whatever he want." No, man, no, you can't. I think there needs to be some organization. You got to move in an organized fashion. Who is this A coming up? Who's this on here now?
Ash.
Main man Ash. Ash, where you been, man?
Yes, Stephen. How am I? You good, yeah? Yes, I'm right.
Good.
But Stephen, hi Ash. But Stephen, don't you think because Canelo has took on the best of the best, and he's probably the only one that's really doing it, maybe apart from AJ, don't you think he deserves a little bit of that leeway? Like leeway?
No, as long as you now if Canelo, if he retires and he starts fighting exhibition fights and stuff like that, then you can say, yeah, you can do whatever you want. But as long as you boxing, man, you got to take on all comers. You got to take on all comers. You got to live like your predecessors, your ancestors did, like the Roberto Duran's, the Tommy Hitman Hearns of the world, the marvelous Marvin Haglers of the world, the William Joppies, you know, saying everybody else that had to go to go in and face that challenge. You got to do it just like they did it, man. No, you never ever will get to the point to where you can call your shots, because calling your shots is cheating. It's cheating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you gotta wait for somebody to, you know, and it happens. It happens. I've been in street fights where people got the best for me. It took me off the set. It happens. So I think what you know Floyd Mayweather did in boxing was he ruined it in a sense, because he made losing non-fashionable, and losing used to be fashionable in boxing.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
A great fight.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, I agree with you, Stephen, man. You know, since the Floyd Mayweather era, none of these guys want to fight each other. Like, not so much Canelo, because Canelo, like, he's done a lot. His resume is great. Fair enough. But the other guys, like, I look at the 135-pounders. Gervonta Davis. Like, come on, Stephen. Gervonta Davis. This guy, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, they're trying to on the public there, I think, anyway. Like that.
Somebody in the chat said Canelo would have beaten Hearns.
No.
What?
And not at 154.
Right, man. That would have been a
maybe at 160. Maybe at 160, not at 154 or 147.
No, not that. But obviously, Canelo now is fighting at heavy weights, you know. But let's be brutally honest. Hearns the Canelo at 154 was beatable. You know, Canelo now is, you know, Canelo at 168 is a beast.
Lara nearly beat Canelo at 154.
Who?
Lara.
Yeah, Lara. And Hearns was, like Ray says, though, I think when we go back in the history, I think Canelo could literally compete with anyone because he's that good.
But you won't beat Tommy Hearns at 154. Dude,
no, at 154 at that green Canelo, no, I think Hearns would.
I mean, you working against too much. You working against Tommy Hitman Hearns, who was trained by arguably the best trainer boxing in the world has ever known, in Emanuel Stewart.
Oh, what a trainer, man.
What a legend! What a legend! If it wasn't for if it weren't for Emanuel Stewart, you wouldn't have any Tyson Fury. Fury, I have Tyson
Lennox?
Fury. Lennox Lewis, man.
Vladimir Klitschko.
Yep.
Come on, man. You talk about so it'll be. I mean, you just got to, man. You know, for boxing, man. If you're a real true boxing fan, man, you got to love and adhere and soak in the culture of boxing. Now, Imran, you had a video earlier today, man. I was watching, man, when I was working. And I'm getting tired of working. I wish I could hit the lottery and wouldn't have to work no more. But you had a video earlier today, man, that I really enjoyed, man. It was you were talking about like people project their biases and they let the biases override their logic, and you can't do that, man. Because the moment you do that, you lose focus and you can't see the beauty in boxing. You got to be able to see the beauty in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I don't agree with Canelo's maneuvering, but but I'm not stupid. I know Canelo with the business. Canelo's a killer, and I just want I want to see him not make questionable steps. What do you think, Ash? Is Ash here?
Ash?
Maybe Ash is on mute, maybe.
Yeah.
Ash.
Sorry, mate. I'm just.
Hey?
Now watching the Chisora fight?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. But I'm also doing
Ash is winning.
You're better tasker than me, man. Yeah, go on. What did you say, little Penny?
Ash is winning.
Ash, put the volume down. Take the volume off.
Can you hear me?
Hey?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Take the volume off. Take the volume. You know, on the TV.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, go on. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, that's cool.
Sorry, I wasn't catching you. What were you saying?
Go ahead, Will Penny. Comment on what I just said, man. I want to, and I want you to get your thoughts too, Imran. But go ahead.
Yeah, Ash. I'll let Ash go first. Ash, Stephen was saying about Canelo's maneuvering. Do you agree with that?
Was you maneuvering in his opponents?
Yeah. Like moving up to cruiserweight, he should fight the 175 guys first.
And fighting the weakest guy at cruiserweight.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I think I said this to him last time. For me, it's always happened in boxing though. It's like unless Stephen can tell me a fighter that's went up a weight and fought the world main guy straight away. There must have been someone. I can't think of someone right now, top of my head. But so, in regards to him moving up, yeah, maybe he shouldn't be barking up a tree up there. Maybe he should be fighting guys a bit smaller. But it's always happened like that. You go maybe and ifs and buts with guys like Mayweather. Maybe he should have fought Pacquiao 5 years earlier, or he should have fought him when he was in his prime. Or so it's ifs and buts, is like swings and roundabouts. But you know what? You gotta give credit to Canelo because he fights guys that are bigger than him as well. So it's still a challenge because guys, bigger guys is a challenge as well because he's not just fighting, the fringe guys of them weights. He's fighting the champions. But if you're comparing, I don't know what you're asking me. You're just saying if it's good for him to go up or something. Or
you know what happened, Ash? You know what happened? You weren't listening, and you were into the fight, and you was watching that fight, and it's all good. It's all great. I don't blame you.
I'm going off what Leigh Penny just told me. So Leigh Penny said you said that Canelo shouldn't have been going up to 175. So I'm just clarifying. Is that what you were asking?
It's all good. It's all good, Ash.
But Steven,
maybe Leigh Penny doesn't listen to you either then, because
yeah, that's true. But Steven, just say what you were saying. I'm gonna give Canelo a pass on this one, on this this cruiserweight fight with Makabu.
Okay.
Because let's face it, he is a champion, even though he's the weakest out of the four. But I'm gonna give him a pass because he's been fighting all these guys. Like he cleaned out 168. He fought the best at 164. He fought Triple G. He fought Danny Jacobs at 160. He's not many boxers are doing that these days, with the exception to AJ, right? So I'm gonna give him a pass on this one. But if he keeps on doing it again, like at 175, if he fights Beterbiev and puts on a catchweight or a rehydration clause, which will kill Beterbiev, then I would have to put him in the same. He's under suspicion. He'll be under suspicion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't think you're gonna see him fight Beterbiev. As you UK guys will say, I say Beterbiev because that's the way I see his name. I see better and then Beef, but y'all say Beterbiev. And you know what though, man? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's kind of that's the way I see his name now. When I see his name, I see Beterbiev. Beterbiev. So I'm used to saying either or, but anyway. I think, man, I think there's no way he's fighting him. I can almost put my life on it. I can almost bet anyone in here that he won't fight Beterbiev.
No, I think he fights him, man, because I think it will mean a lot to him.
I
think so. You think you're thinking he'll fight a much safer Bivol? Is that what you're saying?
But he ain't gonna fight Bivol neither. He gonna try to fight Makabu.
I don't know. I think he wants to clean out.
But then after that, Stephen, what does he do after that? Fights Makabu.
He go back down to 168 and wait for Benavidez to die of cocaine overdose and fight whoever stopped there. That's what he gonna do, man.
Benavidez probably won't even. You go, Ash. Sorry, Ash, you go.
So no, I wasn't gonna say anything.
I think what's his name? That guy you were saying. I don't think he can make 168 anymore. Jose Benavidez. I think he goes to 175, man. I mean, he's been missing weight at that weight class for so long now.
Yeah,
like
he's
you go, Steven.
No, somebody's phone is it's a real bad echo.
There's an echo. Ash. Well, let me just see if it's. Is your phone echoing? Have you got?
No.
One second. It's Ash, isn't it?
It was Ash.
It was Ash, man.
Ash, your phone's echoing. It's you. I just checked it.
Echoing. That's never happened before. Let me come out there.
Now it's not. It's okay.
Come back.
All right, no worries.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Steven, can I just ask a quick question? Hey, what do you like about this Frank Gore Darren Williams fight?
Too much of a novelty, man. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm not into those novelty exhibition types of fight, man. I'm so much of a hardcore boxer. Boxer. I'm not a boxer, but I'm just so much of a hardcore fan that it really doesn't grab my attention. But if you had me pick one, I would say Dereck Williams. Who are you gonna say?
Hey, I watched that podcast with Showtime Basketball with Stack and what's his name, Barnes, where they were interviewing Frank Gore, and they were asking him his story about how he got into boxing. Dude, it was good, man. You should watch it. It's really good. Like when he was starting out, he was sparring with this Russian guy who was an amateur, right? And he hit Frank Gore flush in the face. And Frank Gore, who's running, you know him. He's like one of the toughest running backs in the history of NFL. He told the Russian guy, he said, "Hey, dude, like, hold on a second. Like, he finally got the true meaning of being what a boxer is, and it took him a while to adjust. So, and he said that Frank Gore said that he would never shade anyone who's making a living out of boxing because it is the hardest sport in the world. And for Frank Gore to say that, and Frank Gore is probably one of the toughest running backs in the history of the NFL. For him to say that, I thought to myself, man, that shows you how tough boxing is. And the fact that it's probably the most, out of all the sports in the world, if you ask any athlete, they would say that boxing is probably the toughest sport in the world. And that's the reason why a lot of these basketball players and footballers, they always go to boxing matches. And a lot of these rappers, they come out and sing, when they go into the, when they enter into the ring, like, because boxing is respected. Now, it might not be respected in the superficial world, like, these superficial, like, because they think boxing is such a brutal sport and shouldn't even exist. But in the real world, right, boxing is respected at its highest.
Yeah. Frank Gore, and that's cool. And that's good that you said that, because Frank Gore he's used to lining up behind the quarterback, getting the ball and running out the I formation. He's not used to being solo dolo in the ring by himself. But hold on, somebody called me a Canelo hater.
Yeah.
Listen,
785 Pente. Steven is a big Canelo hater. Oh no. There we have it.
Listen, man. listen, man. Listen. Just because somebody speaks, it doesn't. You shouldn't typecast me as a Canelo hater, man. That's unfair to me. Send him the link, man. Bring him on, man, so I can talk to him.
78785. Come on the chat.
Yeah, we're all friends here, dude. So yeah, you can come on that chat.
Yeah, you can come. You can come on 785 Shante. I'll send you the link. Let me send him the link.
Yeah, send him the link, man. Come on.
Steven, make your point about not being a Canelo hater. Make your point. Just, we were talking about it earlier. That sometimes people get when you like that. He says lol now. He says lol. But yeah. Make your point. Make your point known. Why why.
Hey, Steven, you got a lot of haters in these comments, man. It always seems to be you. Like, it's never me or Ash or anyone. It's always you, dude.
Always you, Steven.
I don't know why, man. But a lot of guys do like it, though.
Explain yourself. Let them know.
Yeah, man. I don't hate Canelo, man. I'm speaking, and you should. I mean, like within any dialogue, you should be able to speak. Ash, your TV, man, or whatever.
Yeah, Ash. But I think it's echoing again.
My TV's on like 5. I can't read the TV. How do you guys do it, man?
No, not TV. Okay. Something's echoing. How are you in the stream?
I'm on my phone, as I normally am.
It's echoing. We can hear you twice.
Let me 1 second.
Because sometimes you got to close the YouTube one out. If you go on the screen, you got to close the YouTube one out.
It's better now.
Yeah.
Okay. So man, this is what I'm saying. It's like just because you speak and you like within like say for instance me and Imran, we having a debate. Imran's gonna have his points. He's gonna have a.
I didn't see too many weaknesses in Beterbiev. I didn't see too many weaknesses whatsoever. From what I seen, I saw a person whose short punches, straight punches, hooks. They created tremendous impact every single time they even tapped Mr. Brown. And what I'm seeing right now, this is the 4th time I've seen this fight. I'm having a hard time seeing a lane.
Juan, he's a little
whatsoever.
Hey, Juan, Beterbiev, he's a little chinny though, don't you think?
Okay, so this happens. Remember, this is 16 fights. I'm gonna deduct the fact that he had 16 fights total here. This was within the first 10 fights that he had that he was dropped. I remember that. But at the end of the day, I mean, everybody gets dropped. He didn't get stunned. He didn't get wobbled. I mean, it was a flash. It wasn't that crazy.
That's true.
I don't see a lane. I don't see a lane for someone to say that beating Beterbiev.
Juan, do you think Canelo fights him?
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. What he's doing right now is he's actually giving you guys a reason to argue. he's setting foot in a division which he doesn't belong in. By the way, he didn't even belong in 168. Steven, I know you don't even disagree with that. The guy is 5'8". I mean, Marvin Hagler was an undersized middleweight. He was 5'10". I mean, let's be honest here, dude. This is greatness. What you're seeing here is a guy with the shortest reach you've ever seen hold more than one title in that division. This is a guy who had no business in that division or 2 divisions below it. He's probably a 154. You're saying that he's maybe a little undersized, or you're saying that he might be, I don't know, cherry picking. I hear that word a lot, but I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. This looks to me like something that's going to be incredibly difficult, because if you've ever set foot in the ring with somebody that's just a little bit bigger than you, eventually you feel it in your arms, you feel it in your forearms, you feel it, man, you'll feel it in your knees. You get hit hard enough.
Let's just see if he makes the fight. If he makes the fight,
see, there's another thing. So when we talk about making fights, I don't know who else is making fights. Now, Beterbiev, this was definitely, for me, Marcus Brown was not a cherry pick. So I think we can all agree with that, right? But who else is there for Beterbiev to pick in that division?
Bivol.
Remember, nobody's pushing for that Bivol fight. Nobody's calling for it. I haven't seen a single YouTube video calling him out. But Canelo's got 3 different divisions where people are clowning.
Who's that English dude at 175?
Unanimously.
English dude.
Let's go ahead and see if they make that fight, man. Let's see if they make the Beterbiev fight. I don't think they make it. You know what I'm saying? I really don't see it happening, Kevin. You go to
if they don't make it again, I have said this before. I said this on a different channel. I don't know of another group of people, fanatics of any of my sporting teams, or anybody that I'm backing up that are 100% happy with their guy, their team. I mean, we all got complaints, right? Except I got to tell you, I don't know of another group of people that have less complaints than actual Canelo fans. And I've been a fan for 31 years. I'm almost 40 years old. So what I'm saying is I had complaints about De La Hoya when De La Hoya was out there. I had complaints about Mayweather. I had complaints about Jones.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oscar De La Hoya, which fights were Oscar De La Hoya took on all comers? So which fight were you
the unanimous. So I'm from LA. The idea as a whole here was that they waited a little too long, and he reveled in the victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
But he rematched him, dude. But he rematched him
twice. But he was an old man, and that was the consensus. Again,
that's not his fault, though. That's not his fault. But he did fight. He did fight Ike Corte and Tito Trinidad. I mean, those guys were killers at 147.
Pernell Whitaker, yeah. So what I'm saying is people have complaints about that. Again, what I'm saying to you is there's nobody that's without criticism. We know that. It's expected. Yeah. But like I said, I'm from LA, and we were complaining about it.
What I'm speaking about, though, listen, this is what I'm speaking about. I just can't do it. I'm not ever going to be able to do it. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to something I see is wrong. And I
Speak
think
on it. Let me know.
Yeah, I'm about to, my man. When you go to cruiserweight and you pick the guy that I ain't never heard of, like Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley said, I ain't heard of who McAboo. I ain't heard of. I don't know nobody. No McAboo. He was. You know what? That was him. He was really pissed off. He was really upset. He was really agitated. You come out with this stuff, man, and it's like over and over again. It's like something to pick, and I'm sick of it. I was sick of Floyd. I didn't like what Floyd did. I didn't. And I get it, man. You know what, man? Canelo, to all the Mexicans out there, Canelo means a lot to you guys. You know what I'm saying? He's like our Malcolm, not Malcolm, I wouldn't put him up there with Malcolm X, but he means a whole hell of a lot to you guys. To have somebody showcase greatness and exhibit it, on a large scale to where you can't deny it, you want to protect that person. But I think that there should be a cap to it. There should be there should be a cutoff to it. You should be able to interject some and maybe I don't see boxing through the lenses you see it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, let me touch on it. Let me touch on that. I like what you said. You said some good things. You mentioned Tim Bradley. So Tim Bradley for me is not where I go to get boxing opinions. Tim Bradley has not reached greatness. The closest thing to greatness he's ever reached to me was cheating Manny Pacquiao out of that fight. Number one. Number two, he did have a pretty good fight where he showed some heart. But at the end of the day, that person that he beat, Provodnikov, can't be considered greatness. He ain't even a Gotti level fighter to me.
One. Sorry,
we don't. Wait, hold on.
One. Sorry.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you go. But just let me go here.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So we don't look at him like Malcolm. I appreciate you retracting that a little bit, but we don't look at him like that. We are hypercritical of our celebrities. We are hypercritical of anything Mexican. We are hypercritical of anything becoming Mexican or attempting to parlay itself as Mexican or parade itself as Mexican, like Triple G did. We were hypercritical, and you know what? He ended up winning us over because it's heart. We have a disadvantage in a way to other boxing fans because we would rather show heart than show strategy. Our uncles will clown us in the ring if we run, if we duck, if we're too slick, if we don't engage. Our fathers will clown us. It's a disadvantage in a lot of ways because somebody who doesn't have that is celebrated in other cultures, not in Mexican culture. If you sit and fight, you bite on your mouthpiece and you go forward, that's the only way you earn it. It's weird, and it's not an advantage. It's a disadvantage. I want to be the first to tell you guys that. We turn on our celebrities faster than just about anybody else I know. More than anybody else I know. So what I'm saying,
I want. Go ahead, Luke.
With Tim Bradley, dude, he beat 2 all-time greats, Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, right?
He never beat Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But
he never beat Manny Pacquiao.
In the record books, he did. So that's two all-time greats, right? So
he did not. This was a split decision win against Juan Manuel Marquez. He did not.
Yeah, I agree.
It was no flawless victory. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Pac won too, but it's not like
greatness escaped him, my brother.
It's not like Manny demolished him, like because I saw that fight as well. I mean,
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
You got a real problem on your hands because you done brought Ray out. You got a real problem on your hands now.
Go on. What's the topic now?
Bradley.
Ray. Come on, Ray. So we're talking about Tim Bradley and how Tim Bradley, Juan saying, what were you saying, Juan, about Tim Bradley, about him not being the greatness escaped him because you don't think he beat
he could definitely reach greatness in his broadcasting career, but he's just got to be a little bit less biased, I think. Yeah, I see Canelo fans. Like, I'm a Canelo fan, but I see the bias in certain Canelo fans. I don't believe that anybody's invincible, but I do believe in greatness, and I do believe in the attempt of greatness. Canelo does have an advantage. He has a built-in fan base that's going to pay him no matter what. Other people will just say Andre Ward. He had to really think about money. He had to think about whether or not this opponent was going to pay. I get it. I get that there's that. And Canelo he's going to get paid regardless. I get that's a disadvantage. I appreciate the fact that he's still going for greatness.
Juan, Jay Foreman just said, if Bradley can't have an opinion because he didn't beat anybody, who has this guy beat to have an opinion? Please stop. I don't know what I said, but
me? Who have I beaten?
You can. Who are you
talking about?
Read Jay Foreman say.
Who?
Yeah, Jay Foreman says if Bradley can't have an opinion because he didn't beat anybody, who has this guy beat to have an opinion? Please stop. You're embarrassing yourself. That's what he said. Juan, that's what he's saying. I don't know.
I've beaten everybody I've ever been in the ring with, but
he nearly beat everybody at 140, with the exception to Amir Khan.
Don't worry about that.
And he beat 2 all-time greats, man, Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez.
He theoretically lost he for sure lost the Pacquiao fight. My hand was on the doorknob about to leave until they yelled out, "Oh, he got cheated." I walked back, and it was sure enough. Tim Bradley
he didn't demolish. Pacquiao didn't demolish Bradley there. It wasn't like he completely.
I thought the fight with Jeff Horn was closer.
Yeah.
I thought the Jeff Horn fight was closer, to tell you the truth.
One.
I thought Pacquiao won that fight easy against Bradley.
Yeah, he won it. I don't know about demolished. Demolished is, if he demolished them, it was like one side. It was a close fight, but I gave it to Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I gave that
I
fight to Pac-Man.
Yeah,
but it wasn't no demolish.
Let me bring Ray in. Ray, what's your opinion?
On what? Sorry, because are you on about what Pacquiao, Bradley?
Anything you can talk about anything you want.
Well, I was going to ask a question about Lomachenko. I don't know if you had a chance to chat about him and his performance, and all of a sudden now he's back on pound lists, and people are talking.
Steven don't like Lomachenko. Steven doesn't like Lomachenko. Steven, where are you gone? There he is. Steven, Ray, speak to Steven about Loma. Speak to Steven.
I can't hear him. I think something's wrong with phone. Or
Steven, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Go on. You two have a discussion about Loma. Go on. This is gonna turn.
Steven, I think he's back. I think he's he's making some noise, and I think he makes a very, very dangerous division exciting again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, listen. Okay. All right. Let's have a conversation. Okay. Real quick. Okay. Now Lomachenko. Okay. This last performance was brilliant. I liked it, and I like what I seen when he fought Nakatani too. Do I think that he's gonna get past the likes of Devin the Dream Haney? I think he got a pretty good shot at it. I think Devin the Dream Haney, he lacks power. I think too much is put into his so-called skill set. Now, if he fights,
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And he better fight him now because he's not going to beat him in 3-4 years.
Yeah, I think if he
better
fights
not wait,
Tank,
dude.
Yeah, what Juan is saying it. Even Juan thinks it. He agrees with me. Even Juan does. So I think, man, a lot of fuss is made over him because of his, he was trained by ballerinas, and he does a lot of ballerina dancing inside the ring, and I think his style is something that could fool you into thinking like, dang, this dude is cold with it. This dude is cold blooded. I like the way he switched angles and this, that, and the third. But when he's pressured, when somebody's coming full steam ahead, and that person his opposition knows how to box and knows how to switch and how to turn, I think you're seeing a different fight, man. And then somebody like Javante been boxing for a long time. And somebody like Steven Shakur, it's not even gonna be a test. I don't even think that's a fair fight. If Steven Shakur go to 135, it's not gonna be a fair fight, man. Because his skill set is so much more superior. What do you say, Ray? What you think?
I like Shakur Stevenson. I think Shakur Stevenson's a great talent. I would say he's probably him and Brute Tennis are my two favorite American fighters coming through. But I still think there's a little bit of minimization of Lomachenko's ability. His footwork's brilliant. His ring IQ's quality, and for a defensive a counter puncher and a defensive fighter, he's really, really aggressive on the front foot. And I think that throws a lot of people. I know what you're talking about in terms of if you put somebody who's really strong and big in front of Lomachenko, that he doesn't like that style. It takes him a long time to figure out that type of opponent because clearly he wasn't used to that in the amateur. So I get that. I get that as being a weakness, but all fighters have a kryptonite. One was saying about 15 minutes ago, nobody's invincible. Teofimo Lopez has got slow feet. He struggles with swift boxers. He hasn't got power. People are saying Cambosis Jr. hasn't got power. I've always said that he can pop, and I've got proof right there. And you look at the other lightweights. I mean, Ryan Garcia, we haven't seen him. He's soon get in trouble off Luke Campbell. So they've all got their weaknesses, but the key is they've all got their strengths, which makes the division exciting. Now, Lomachenko, for me, I still think in terms of his mid to short range ability is second to none. It really is. Where he struggles is on the outside, because he's short. So mid to short range, he's brilliant. Long range, he's not as effective. And that's where you're talking about, Stephen, where looks are deceiving. That's where the eye test can perhaps big him up to be better than what he is. I think in terms of just concentrating on mid to short term range, he is really, really good. Long range, he's not. That was a dip. That's what Teo capitalized on, due to his physicality at long range. And that's where Lomachenko was found wanting.
Hey, Ray, if they had a tournament, right, at 135 and include Shakur Stevenson in there and also Tank Davis and all of, Haney and Garcia, Lomachenko, who wins that tournament at 135?
Well, it depends on the draw for a start, doesn't it? Stevenson, he's got the great ability, but he hasn't had any fights at 135, so we don't know how he's going to manage with that weight. Garcia, we don't know what he's like when he's going to come back psychologically. Tank, we've seen him against certain specific type of fighters. Somebody like Ryan Garcia, who's tall, can box, and can punch just as hard. That's going to be a very difficult fight for him. This is what makes the division exciting. There's 3 or 4 names that could win that. It literally just depends on the draw. So, I mean, for me, if you're asking for me who the best, let's just take Teo out of it, because Teo's clearly a light welterweight now. You could look at the skills of Haney, the power of Garcia and Tank, and the defensive skills of Lomachenko, and the speed of Kambosos Jr. It literally just depends on the draw.
I got Loma.
Yeah,
Dude.
Lomachenko. I think he's the best lightweight in the world. I think that fight against Kambosos was a slip up. I'm sorry, not against Kambosos, against Teo. Yeah. I think he beats him all. I think he beats him all.
Assuming Shakur moves up, I got him number 1, no doubt. I got Javante number 2. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put Loma at number 3, but and I'll put Devin at 4. But a fight between Loma and Devin. If Devin keeps him on the outside and he keeps that jab in his face like that, it's gonna be a long night for Loma. It's gonna be a long night.
I think what you find with Lomachenko is he'll probably give the first 5-6 rounds away, and then you'll come back into it. That's a problem with Lomachenko.
Hey guys, can I touch on the cruiserweight division before I get out of here?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So traditionally, the cruiserweight division, from what I've seen, it has been the Constantinople, the Istanbul of boxing. It's generally one of those divisions that you get in there and you get out. Go to heavyweight.
I know.
I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I'm
not too sure about the analogy, but fair enough.
Unless
no. He's talking about a different thing, Ray. You probably need to visit Istanbul. I know what you mean, Juan.
Yeah, it's not a permanent home generally. We have a lot of all-time greats that have been there. We don't have a lot of all-time greats that stayed there. So for us, it's a little bit weird and it's a little different. Now, when we're talking about Makabu, Makabu's kind of like Rocky Fielding in that way. However, he does hold a legitimate world championship. It's a little different. But Canelo's dunking his toe in the water. If you can imagine, him getting up there and fighting Callum Smith right away, first things first, if he didn't do that well against Rocky Fielding, I think that he probably would have rethought or maybe had another tune-up fight before he hit that one. I think there is legitimate criticism when it comes down to it. I understand he's not the best. I understand that Canelo's on a different level, but we don't know who's going to win. Can you guarantee he's going to win? I can't. It's boxing. Everybody's gotten clocked in boxing. Everybody knows what it feels like, and nobody's seen it coming. So we just kind of gotta look at it, him dunking his toe in the water, seeing if he actually could do it. If he can't do it, I don't think he's afraid of losing, to tell you the truth.
One, I've got to disagree with you. I don't think Makabu's like Rocky Fielding at all. I think he's much better than him.
I'm with you.
Oh, no, I know.
That's why I'm looking a bit like, what's he on about?
Is Rocky Fielding. I'm not saying he's on that level. I'm saying this is Canelo dunking his toe in the water. He's not sure if he's going to be able to make a splash here. Rocky Fielding was just the first fight at 168 to let him know how to get adjusted to get his body adjusted to that weight.
Rocky
I don't think
was an
Makabu would be
opportunity.
an easy fight.
It was an opportunity to get a belt. It needs the opportunity to get a belt. Same when Matthew Patton all those years ago. It was an easy way to get a belt. And I think that's the thing. Going back to my point, I can't remember if I was having a debate. I think it was someone called E, and he was saying about how many champions Canelo fought. And he was comparing him to Mayweather. And one of the things people forget about Canelo is how many pound for pound fighters has he fought? I think Triple G. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's it. So when people talk about Canelo having such a fantastic resume and comparing it to Anthony Joshua, at least Anthony Joshua's for he was at one point in a pound for pound list. and at some point Klitschko was.
Yeah.
But if you look at Canelo's opponents, how many of them are being pound for pound, even at least when Canelo's fought them?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before too. Like with to his path to greatness. Like, you know, when we're talking about putting him in the same bracket as Mayweather and Pacquiao, and I was saying like 2 days earlier, man, no way, he's gotta do more, way more. And yeah, he can't just Ray. I know you probably won't like this, but I have to put Cotto in there too, because Cotto was the lineal champ at 160. Even though Cotto was washed, but because he fought the lineal champ at 160, you know, this is the man who beat the man who beat the man.
You really think Cotto was washed though, Little Penny? I don't think Cotto was washed. Yeah. That was a close fight.
Cotto wasn't pound for pound. He wasn't pound for pound at the time of fighting Canelo, was
he? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No.
But it was the lineal champ though, like, you know, because he beat Martinez, right? But I think he was washed.
Yeah, but he wasn't pound for pound though. He was a champion, yeah, of course. He was a champion. I accept that, but he wasn't pound for pound.
Boston Jorge makes a point, Ray. He goes, Anthony Joshua never fought a number one pound for pound fighter. Canelo fought Triple G and Mayweather when they were both number one.
No, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, but he fought in terms of number one in the pound for pound list, or just on the pound for pound list per se. Because my argument is
heavyweights don't get rated highly on pound for pound list anyway, so you can't count. You have to count that out.
No, not really. Yeah. I'm on about being in the pound for pound list, not number one in the pound for pound list. Just being on there. Just being on
but
there.
Historically, heavyweights have never really been in that pound for pound conversation per se, because I can't
historically, but they are now. But they are now, though. Historically, yes, but they are now.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what? Why though? Because if you look at the last 20 years, how many great heavyweights have there been? When you think about it, like that deserve to be on the pound for pound list. Lewis, that's it. But that's what I mean. Lewis, he was on the pound for pound list. He was on the pound for pound list. Klitschko. That's it. But that's what Fury. Yeah, that's it. 3.
Yeah, Fury. Yeah.
Apart from that, how many else? Hey,
Usyk's gone on there now.
Yeah, Usyk. Usyk was there before he went to heavyweight, though, wasn't he?
Hey, Ray, I had this debate with your friends at Last Bell Boxing about Lennox Lewis. About we were discussing about, you know, his opponents and when he chose to fight him. Like in Lennox Lewis's prime, he fought a washed Holyfield. He fought a super washed Mike Tyson, and he really doesn't have that opponent that would say that could put him like in the same bracket as, say, Muhammad Ali, because Muhammad Ali fought like guys in their primes, like, you know, Foreman and Frazier and, you know, what's his name, Sonny Liston, Ken Norton and like Shaver and like Ronnie Lyle and these guys, you know what I mean? Like, whereas like Lennox really didn't have that. Now it's not his fault, because, you know, because even what's his name didn't want to fight him. What's his name? Bo, right? So what do you say to that criticism?
So what was the question? Lewis didn't fight people at their prime. Is that what you're saying, or what?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
he fought Vitaly.
If they're saying that he was in the same bracket as Ali, I would completely disagree. But what you've got to understand is Lennox Lewis was our country's best heavyweight, as in mine and Imran's and you know, British fighters. He was our best heavyweight. He was the last,
probably the greatest British fighter.
Sorry,
he was the greatest British fighter.
In the modern era, of course, he was, and he's the last undisputed fighter. So he's held in quite high esteem, which means emotionally people are going to attach all sort of accolades to him, which perhaps he doesn't really deserve. So I see your point, but that's where they're coming from. However, Lewis's achievement does stand alone, and until somebody like Tyson Fury or Usyk becomes an undisputed heavyweight champion, he's always going to be up there, Little Penny. And yeah, although you can see he fought a washed up Tyson and he fought this and that, he did avenge his defeats and his record's very, very impressive.
Yeah, Ray, that's another thing, Ray. He lost to B- fighters. Like, in not only that, he lost in like sensational fashion. Like, that's where I'm a little bit like, I like Lewis, right? I think, and I do agree with you, he's the best British boxer ever until like maybe Fury might potentially overpass him. But that's what I'm saying, Ray. Man, like didn't he get knocked out by Hasim
Oliver
Rahman?
McCall and Oliver McCall.
Yeah, but that's boxing sometimes, and I mean, you're not always going to lose the very best. Sometimes you're going to lose the people who sometimes you were just beaten. Yeah, he did, but look at his wins. Look at his great wins on his resume, and Lennox Lewis, when he was at his Pompno, he's pretty much near unbeatable.
Yeah,
and that's what stands him in the stead that he's in now, and that's what I'm saying. He was the last undisputed champion, and because there's been such time elapsed and there's been no one close to doing that until now, until the past 18 months or so. Even though he's had the defeats and the manner of his defeats, it's how he's come back from that.
Hey Ray, Imran, is he British?
Who, Lennox?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was born in West Ham. Born in.
Yeah, he's British. He's.
Okay, checking, because
And you was asked, though, he said he Jamaican.
No, he fought for Olympic. Canada, yeah. So yeah,
in the Olympics.
That's why a lot of people say that he's not British, but he was born in
I was
Britain.
just playing.
He sounds Canadian. Yes, yeah, I'm playing too, but he sounds Canadian when he's on TV.
Probably,
yeah, but it doesn't make any difference, I mean,
No, I'm just playing.
You got to remember we're from going off boxing, but we're from a very diverse country. Me and Imran, so there's lots of people that sound as though they're from somewhere. But
hey Ray, I want to get your take.
So he's British.
Hey, Ray,
we're taking that.
Hey Ray, I wanted to get your take on Khan versus Brook.
Oh yeah, we didn't. We had a debate, Khan v Brook.
Ray,
I wanted to ask you first about the ticket selling out in 10 minutes. You know what? I am skeptical if that fight goes ahead because of the situation we've got in the UK. You're probably aware, Ray. I'm not sure. I think that might get cancelled, but that might be a good thing because then they might do that fight in a 50, 60,000 seater stadium because they know they can sell that out now.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about, but I still think they'll just keep it in Manchester. I think Amir Khan would have pushed for that fight to be at Manchester because he knows he's going to get the backing of the Asian population over there. I don't think they'll push it to Wembley because it's Sky. So have Sky got the money to put them the undercard?
They could do it at Old Trafford, somewhere that's 50, 60,000. How much does Old Trafford hold?
Well, is it at Old Trafford or is it in the MEN Arena or whatever it's called?
No. It's in the O2 Arena. What I'm saying is, with the situation we've got on the UK at the minute.
Yeah, with COVID.
If it does get cancelled, do you think it will be a blessing in disguise that they might be able to do it in a stadium in Manchester or something?
That's what I was saying. I don't think it'll be moved anywhere else. I think they'll keep it in Manchester because, like I was saying, Amir Khan will want it in Manchester because you'll want the backing of the Asian fans there.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll move it. I know it's sold very, very well, and I said it wouldn't sell, and I've been proved wrong. Because I'm surprised people are still interested in the fight, but I think Amir Khan pushed for it to be in Manchester. I think he pushed for it to be in Manchester. I don't think for one, because you could argue London's a neutral venue. Why wasn't it in London? But
where's Kell Brook from?
Sheffield.
Okay, so where's Amir Khan from?
Bolton, like near Manchester.
We're like 2 or 3 hours away from each other.
Not even that. I would say probably about an hour.
Oh dang!
I would say it's about Is it about New York and Boston, or am I completely wrong there?
New York and Boston, like more than an hour. New York and like Philadelphia is like an hour. New York and like New Jersey, like an hour. Like Oklahoma
Jersey,
and Texas. Yeah, Oklahoma and Texas, like 2 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to, before we speak about Khan Brook, let me just mention this. Marky Dan 123, thanks for the super chat. He basically says Lennox beat Holyfield, Tyson, Tua, Briggs, Mercer, Morrison, Sally Klitschko, and Bo openly ducked him. He's the greatest Brit ever to me. I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
not only is he the greatest Brit, but he's one of the greatest boxers of all time.
Yeah. Is he top 5, do you reckon?
Yeah, he's top 5 to me. You already know how I feel about
Ali, you've got what's his name? Foreman. I got Foreman there.
Joe
Lewis, Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was a great fighter.
Larry Holmes was good, yeah. I put Lennox, man, maybe second of all time.
I got Lennox at 6.
Who you got before him?
Ali, Joe Louis, Jack Johnson.
Okay.
You're going back into the 18th centuries.
Yeah, come on.
No, Jack Johnson's still a serious don. You know, you still got.
Yeah, he was a monster. I've seen, but that was a long time.
He invented counter punching, man. People forget that. He was a counter puncher.
But when was he around? 1850s?
1910s.
Hey?
1910s.
All right. Okay, so it was fair enough. Yeah, it wasn't that long. Like there's certain fighters that were around like 1700s, and you're like, I went on their box rec and they've had like 300 fights, and you're going down their box rec, and there's not a lot of information there. But
yeah,
so
I got Jack Dempsey. I got Jack Dempsey at 5, and I got Lennox at 6.
You got Lennox. How you gonna have Lennox at 6, little penny man? Come on, man. You gotta give him more love, man.
How can you have Jack Dempsey above?
Like he's going back into the history. Do you know what I mean? He's going back, like we're talking 100, 150 years. So it's a hard one. Me and Ray had a debate about that back in the day. That I don't know. It's difficult to say because things have changed so much. But then you have to give people credit for their eras as well, right? Yeah. Like I know that they were great in their time. You gotta give them their credit. Like just because we may look back at that era and think, oh man, those guys were sloppy, but for that time they were good. You know what I mean? For what they had, the resources and what they had. They were great for their time, you know. Like someone in 50 years' time, people might look back at our era and say, "Oh, these guys, Canelo was sloppy. He was like, you know what I mean? Look, the guys we got way better." So
like Imran, that that guy who was saying that Muhammad Ali, if you put Muhammad Ali now with the Furies and the Klitschko, like he wouldn't like he'd get demolished, right?
Who said that?
Was that Nelson?
Nelson. But the thing is, if Muhammad Ali was born on the same date as say Fury, right? He wouldn't be at 100 and he wouldn't be at 209 pounds. Muhammad Ali will probably be at 240 because of
he'd be at cruiser.
No, because of the food that he would be eating. He would have all the luxury of today's health and conditioning. He wouldn't be at 209. He would be at 240 or something like that. So he would be comparable. And you know what? I think like Muhammad Ali, he would be a killer in today's boxing, man. With that footwork.
You know what,
that's a problem, though, little penny. I think what you recognize is skill. Last time I checked, skills won fights. That's what Roger Mayweather always used to say. Skills win fights. So when you've got someone as skilled as Muhammad Ali in any era, he could be a heavyweight and still win fights. Forget about all this strength and conditioning and stuff. You go back to the old school. The strength. Remember what weight did you see Muhammad Ali and George Foreman and Ernie Shavers lifting? They barely lifted any. These guys were fighting 15 rounds, little penny. 15 rounds, and they weren't lifting weights. Muhammad Ali was running on the beach wearing Timberland boots or equivalents boots that you wear in the army.
chopping trees.
Yeah, chopping trees. It's old school. And you got people like Anthony Joshua gassing out because they're lifting weights and they're deadlifting. There's a difference between boxing and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know what? You know when Nelson said that the other day, man. I really didn't feel that, man. I really didn't. I didn't understand where that was coming from, man. I just didn't understand it. You know, like you said,
I don't
right?
know this Nelson, but already I'm feeling as though he's on a different wavelength.
Now, because Ray, he was saying that Muhammad Ali fought like a washed Sonny Liston, and George Foreman and Joe Frazier was a bit young when they first fought, and Foreman was like he wasn't himself in Africa.
When Nelson comes on, make sure you give me a ring, yeah.
To be fair, Nelson makes some good points though. I didn't agree with him on that, but he knows his boxing on the other bits he was talking about.
Yeah, he does know his boxing. And Nelson knows boxing, but he be out there sometimes, man.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, man. Like I said, next time when he's on, give me a ring and we'll see.
Yeah. I think you know the thing is with Muhammad Ali, the guy had to go through a lot in his life, not just his boxing. But he had to go through a lot. You know, like not many. But like that's why when Floyd compares himself to Ali and says I'm greater and I've had to go through racism and stuff like that, that really ekes me up. You know what I mean? Because like you can't compare what Ali. But
to be fair to Floyd changed the game financially for boxers.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yes.
Now I'm not saying he did. He was nowhere near. He didn't refuse to go to war. He didn't put up anything that Muhammad Ali did or what black people did, in that era. But Floyd Mayweather financially changed the game for the sport of boxing.
But Ray, I think we also need to give a lot of credit to Oscar De La Hoya because it was him that pioneered that boxing revolution that I am the boss, you work for me. Because when Oscar De La Hoya bought out his contract from Top Rank and formed Golden Boy Promotion, he gave a lot of the boxers freedom. Like, you know, Hatton went to Golden Boy, Mosley went to Golden Boy, and Bernard Hopkins went to Golden Boy. Even Floyd Mayweather went to Golden Boy because Golden Boy gave Oscar De La Hoya gave these boxers freedom where you are the boss, not the promoter. You know what I mean? So I think Oscar De La Hoya really needs to get more, because even if it wasn't for Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao wouldn't have been the pay-per-view stars that they were. Because if you look at Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao's pay-per-view numbers before they fought Oscar De La Hoya, they were doing 300s. Pacquiao Marquez too, I think did 400 pay-per-view buys. And then once they fought De La Hoya, then they went into the millions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Oscar De La Hoya was a very interesting watershed moment for both of the fighters. I just think that I agree with what you're saying about Oscar De La Hoya. It's a very good point. But Floyd Mayweather, he took a big risk because he left Top Rank and he decided to focus on a market that hadn't particularly tapped into boxing, the Afro-American sort of hip-hop market. It hadn't really emerged itself into boxing. There was some that were following Tyson. Tyson had gone, and those people were out there. And Floyd Mayweather realized I need to tap into this market. It wasn't really there. With Oscar De La Hoya, the Hispanics had always been there. I think that's the difference. I agree with your point. It's a wonderful point to make. What I am going with, Floyd Mayweather took a big risk there. De La Hoya did as well. But Floyd Mayweather took a big risk by jumping into that.
Yeah, that's what Stephen was saying before about the. That's what Stephen was saying before about the hip hop culture. Floyd Mayweather really tapped into that.
Yeah, and that's that. Of course, he did. And look at where it's got him. And there's a lot of people trying to tap into that now. You know, the likes of Haney, Tank, the Charlo boys. But Floyd Mayweather started all that up. But I think that's where America's probably been, you know, head and shoulders above every other nation in terms of boxing. And I think where, although other countries are catching up in terms of talent, in terms of tapping into those type of markets, we don't have this the population.
Right.
So we're a little bit slow to catch up on that, but
Yeah, but Ray, in America, I think there's one market that boxing hasn't tapped since Kelly Pavlik was around, which is the white market in America. I don't see like a lot of white Americans attending boxing because there's no like because Fury is from Britain, you know, because they can't relate to Fury because he's from Britain. You know what I mean? Like I think that's one market that boxing needs to.
I think that's another very good point. I mean, you seem to be on fire today, little Penny. I'll tell you that. But what tends to happen is I don't mean this in any racial way. I'm just saying it as it is. Yeah. In order to capitalize on the white market, you get a lot of Irish fighters fighting in places like Boston and Philadelphia to try and get white people to attend. So I agree. Yep. And you often hear people saying, well, all America needs is a white heavyweight or a white American fighter to bring back all the fans. And it's a shame because they're racializing the sport in a way, but it is true. It is true. Yeah. And what you need is somebody like Canelo to be a white American, you know, for him to be called Simon Caneloson or something like that. But I just think that the way America is, because it's so diverse, I just think that also they're falling out with love of boxing in a way. I don't think boxing's as well respected as what it was 15, 20 years ago. But I do agree that they are missing a blue collar, as they call it, a blue collar boy. That might change, but the way I'm looking at it, I'm looking at their Olympic squads. Imran knows I'm always following the amateur scene. The American boys and women that are coming through, they tend to be Afro-American or Hispanic.
No, nobody here. All right, then, man. All right, Chief. I get what you.
Looks like Steven's ordering something at McDonald's.
Nah, I was taking my son to work.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Cool.
Yeah,
man.
taking my son to work. But no, y'all are correct, man. In America, man. We just got so much going. You know, sports. As far as sports in America, football is going to be the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? Basketball, NBA, football. But football is really going to be the cream of the crop. And what happened is that a lot of the talent, they don't go into boxing. They specialize in going into football because it's more popularized, or basketball. So a lot of the talent will be talent. A lot of those future Muhammad Ali's and Tommy Hitman Hearns, they're playing football. They're playing basketball. We never get to see them in the boxing ring because boxing is kind of passé. But you got people like everybody on the stream, like a lot of the listeners and everything. A lot of these guys, man, they come from America, and they know how we get down in America. And in America, there is a lot of politics and everything in America. Everything is based on race and class and so forth and so on. I noticed that even from talking to y'all, man, that the UK is much more diverse. It's much more open-minded in terms of allowing other people into different forms and conversation. But that's not the case in America. That's why on this platform you'll see a lot of people because Imran has more of a Hispanic following here in America, and a lot of them are going to be pro Canelo, and that's for good reason. Like I said, I can dig it, man. There's nothing like having a representative of your people at the forefront of it.
But apart from Christian, though, he's a Hispanic that doesn't like Canelo.
No, Christian white. He's white.
He's Cuban.
No, yeah, he's something like he ain't Hispanic like them. He ain't, he's not like Mexican. Like Canelo's like Mexican. You know what I'm saying? He's like
but I mean, I know people from, it's still a Spanish speaking his sort of Hispanic country, isn't it? Really, Cuba. Latin American, isn't he?
Hey, Imran, is Christian? Is he the attorney of Andrade? Is that true or is it?
I don't think so. I'm
no,
not sure.
I think we'll be speculating. I think to be fair to Christian, because he is a nice guy. He is a lawyer, but I don't think he's a attorney for Andrade. I think he's just a really big Andrade fan, just the same as I'm a big Canelo fan. I'm a big Floyd fan. So if anyone's disrespecting them, I'm going to be supporting Canelo or Floyd or what have you. But yeah, the point I was making was he's Spanish speaking. He's from a country which is Spanish speaking. So you naturally would assume he's a Canelo fan, but he's not. And that's the point I was making. I can see what Stephen's going from. Stephen's saying that, the UK is probably a little bit more relaxed and accepting diversity than what America is, and that shows in our boxing. Because you look at a lot of our stars, they're from all walks of life. We have white people, Asian people, black people, whoever. But in America, perhaps it's not like that. But at the end of the day,
in America, America's very, very, it's very volatile. It's very explosive. It's very tense. You could be driving down the street, you get into it with somebody, next thing you know, the police kill you, especially us, like, black men, police kill us, I mean, it's like, it's bad, man. You can ask some of the people in the chat, man, it's real bad, dude. It's like bad.
But the thing is though, all the potentials in the America, still, that's where the money is, and that's where all the potential is. Like, if you go back to boxing, if you look at the welterweight division, they're all Americans that are the best ones. Lightweight division, Americans. If you look at some of the talent coming through now, Keyshawn Davis, that heavyweight,
Keyshawn Davis, a bad boy.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Hey, y'all seen him?
The Russell brothers. Yeah. And is it Antoine Russell? Because all call Gary on.
Oh, Gary is Gary. Oh my gosh, them guys, man! I'm telling you, man.
You said Steven said Gary Antoine would beat Josh Taylor. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, he's a really, really good fighter. Gary Antoine. That's the one with the bit of the afro in it. Yeah, at 140.
Yeah.
Because I keep getting confused because there's about 15 Garys. But yeah, he's a problem. He really is. I like
Isn't
him.
that stupid? Isn't that stupid how he named all his sons Gary?
Oh, I don't know what he was thinking, man.
Him and George Foreman did that. This so stupid. You don't even know which one is which.
That's crazy, man.
But the best one, the best one to me is Gary Anton. There's no way nobody want that smoke with him.
Yeah.
Him and Keyshawn and you seen Montana Love?
Yeah, he's good as well.
I like him, but I worry he's the worst out of a lot of them in the sense that he reminds me too much of Adrian Broner. He's coming out there, Stephen, with his pet dog. Defensively, he can be all over the place. I think he's got this arrogance that at some point he'll get you and your speed will take over. My worry is Keyshawn Davis and Antoine Russell have got a skill set above their opponent. They're not just relying on skill, they're relying on ring IQ. They're relying on their ability to judge and read the distance. Montana Love doesn't have that IQ. He's just relying on his physicality, his speed, and his power. At some point, the way boxing is, somebody's going to match him, and then what's he going to do? Keyshawn Davis, I don't have that worry with him. I can sense watching him in the Olympics and watching him in the pros already. He doesn't have that. He doesn't just rely on his speed, his power, whatever. He relies on his ring IQ. Ring IQ, for me, is what sets people from being good, average, and being great. That's why I like Keyshawn Davis. That's why I like Boots Ennis and all those kids, because they've got ring IQ. I don't see Montana Love having that ring IQ. I think you put him up against somebody at his weight, solid, I think he'll fall apart.
Hey, Ray, we didn't get your take on the Brook Khan fight. Who do you think will win that fight?
Khan. I'm going for Khan. I'm wanting Khan to win. I said to Imran, he's always susceptible to getting knocked out. if Kell Brook times him, he can be knocked out cold.
Yeah.
And I think that both fighters are shot. I really do. I've said that for about, how long have I been on Imran's channel? Since February or something, Imran. I've always said I think both fighters are shot, but I've got a feeling Amir Khan can just stay on his toes because he'll not want to engage.
You're not, dude. No one's picking Brook at all. Dude, you need.
I think there's a boy in the chat, JM84. He's made some very good comments this evening. I think he's saying that Kell Brook is going to win. You know, I can see why. Kell Brook, timing's his best attribute, and you're not going to lose your power, are you? It's one of the last things to go. So I think if Kell Brook catches him, he's going to go. But Amir Khan, if he keeps his speed, if he stays on his toes and he stays disciplined, I think he'll do it.
Yeah, no one seems to be picking Kell Brook. Like,
you know what the crazy thing is, though? You know what the crazy thing is, Little Penny? Brook's actually been made a favorite by the bookies here.
Really?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I was shocked when I seen that. I was like, what? I was like, because you know what? I actually think, you know, back 6 years ago when Khan fought Alexander and Kell beat Porter, I actually think the bookies would have made Khan a favorite at that point, even though a lot of the public at that point may have fancied Brook. But the bookies would have probably made Khan the favorite. But I reckon now the bookies and just the boxing public in general don't see Khan like they did once back in the day. Or the bookies don't have that. The bookies don't have that belief in Khan because Khan's only been underdog twice in his career, and that was against Canelo and Crawford. He's never been an underdog in his career. So I reckon now, because of the fact that he's been inactive for 3 years, I just think that the bookies and all, like the people that, you know, that like the bookies who actually, they go off like they're not favoring anyone. They're just going off you know, they're looking at the both fighters' skills. They're looking at the inactivity. And I was reading the bookies report, like the reason why they've got Brook. It's not a massive favorite. It's like a 55%, 45%. It's not a huge favorite. But basically, they're saying that Khan's inactivity is a big problem.
Yeah, but so is Brook.
Yeah, Brook's not
exactly, Little Penny. Exactly. It's just. I mean, we're talking about two fighters that are both way past the prime, arguably both shot. It could be one of those. It's just a huge shame this fight wasn't 6-7 years ago when they both were at the prime, and then we could have a proper debate about who would win this fight.
Yeah,
this
Ray, I've been saying all along that this fight, from a legacy standpoint, this fight doesn't count because it's 7 years too late. But what happens if Brook beats Khan and then they have a rematch and then Khan wins that and then they have a trilogy?
I think that's why you're wrong, Little Penny. I think, you know, in terms of legacy, it means everything because this is a rivalry, mate. This is a rivalry, and that's the thing about UK fighters. This fight means everything to them. This fight is a case of who can hold their head up high in terms of amongst British boxing fans. Whoever loses this fight, you probably won't see on any of these TV channels, IFL TV, Boxing Social. You rarely will see them. Imagine, you know what I'm talking about, Imran. Imagine if Amir Khan lost this fight. He won't be able to show his face around in the Northwest again. He'd probably just want to move up to America or Dubai.
Is there a rematch?
There won't be a rematch. The only way there'll be a rematch is if it got stopped in a cut, like what do you call him? The leads, Josh Warrington and Lara. If it was like that, where it got stopped in a cut after a couple of rounds, and you know that you may get a rematch there. But I think what they're looking for is a one fight ends all, end argument, and then they can both retire.
Now, right. You know how I see this? You know how I see this fight? I've got Khan early or Brook late. So I reckon
he's sitting on the fence, man. Come on.
Same.
No. I'm picking Khan early. I'm picking even Ricky Hatton's picking Khan to win. Ricky Hatton said that he feels Khan's just a little bit will be too fast. And I was listening to what Ricky Hatton was saying. And Ricky Hatton was saying, I think he may be a bit too quick. I think I've seen them both on the pads. and I've been watching them, and he goes, I just think that Amir looks a bit too quick for him. I think he looks a bit too quick. But I personally think that here's the thing, and here's how I see this fight, right? If Amir, like before in their primes, I think Amir Khan would have had to outbox Brook and beat him on points. The problem Brook's got now is that Amir Khan can hurt him and knock him out, in my opinion. I think we showed that in the last fight against Crawford, that Brook's punch resistance looked really bad, right?
Yeah.
So
Amir Khan's
early
punch
on in that
resistance
fight,
is just
Khan
as bad.
fights very fast, and he starts very fast. No, but that's what I'm saying. But his punch resistance has always been, susceptible. Brooks hasn't. So the point I'm trying to make is early on in that fight, Brook's gonna have to come through fire because Khan always starts fast. Khan's gonna land, in my opinion, a lot more punches early on in that fight than Brook will, right? And Brooks doesn't throw combination punches. He throws single shots, right? Unless he catches Khan early in the fight with a big one and knocks him out, right? I don't really see Brook getting to Khan early in that fight. But can Brook come through the fire that Khan's going to throw early on in that fight with his hand speed? And I don't know whether he can at this point because Khan's quite vicious early on in fights. And if he gets Brook hurt even once in that fight, the fight's over because the referee's going to just jump in and because Khan will overwhelm him.
Yeah,
So
I know why. Ain't no way. Kell Brook is outboxing Amir Khan.
No. There's very few people that can outbox Amir Khan.
Yeah, but
So
Imran,
I don't know.
Imran, just a quick question. So, if Amir Khan loses, right?
Yeah.
So you reckon there won't be a rematch? Like if Amir Khan loses?
No.
It depends on how. It depends on It depends on how. I reckon if Amir Khan loses, then there's more of a chance of a rematch. If Kell Brook loses, then there's no rematch.
Yeah, I agree. The real money is in the rematch.
Hey.
The real money is in the rematch.
Yeah, but why? If you're Amir Khan, why are you going to give a guy another chance? Kell Brook hasn't really got anywhere to go. Really, he's just looking at for payday. Even Khan hasn't got anywhere to go. But Khan said he wants to fight Danny Garcia, so he's gonna think, why should I? If I beat this guy, why am I giving him another chance to potentially beat me?
No. I mean, if Khan loses, I think
If Khan loses, then there's more of a chance of a rematch, depending on how he loses. If he gets iced, or it's not really a competitive fight. But if both go down and it's a competitive fight, then there's a rematch. But I don't see if Khan wins. I don't think there's any way there's a rematch.
Because Imran, I don't think Amir Khan is going to let Kell Brook get away with a win. Like if he loses, I think there will be an immediate rematch because Amir Khan he's not gonna live like that. Where
again, it depends on how the fight goes, doesn't it? Like if it's a complete, I don't know. I don't see it being a complete washout.
I'm just laughing at Jay Foreman's point. He says took how many years to have the first fight, and this guy's already planning a rematch. That's exactly my point. It took ages for them to have the fight in the first place. So what makes you think they're going to have a rematch immediately? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Jay Foreman, that's a fantastic point there, mate. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what crazy thing is? You know what crazy thing is, Ray? If, for example, right, the first fight's a cracker and like it's just an unbelievable fight, flipping hell, these guys might do it 2 or 3 times and make a shed load of money right at the end of their career.
I tell you now, that won't happen. That won't happen. I hope. This is what I was saying 10 minutes ago. This fight is just about ego. It's about legacy. It's just about it's about go back to when you were at secondary school, Imran.
Yeah.
That kid that you always want to have a fight with, you beat them, and now everyone in school's all over you. That's what it's about. It's a rivalry that's gone on for years. It's not about belts or anything anymore. It's just about who's the better man. Kell Brook is obviously jealous about Amir Khan's revenue, his money, his celebrity lifestyle, and you could say that Kell Brook's the better fighter, but Amir Khan's a better boxer. But I would say Amir Khan's right. Kell Brook is jealous about what Amir Khan's achieved,
And I know Amir Khan used to play with Cal Brook when they were kids. He used to school them in sparring.
How do you know that, Ray? How do you know that?
I know a few people that have been on the England squads from the Berkeley Amateur
But Ray,
Boxing
with
Club.
one hand, Ray, with one hand?
Not with one hand, but he did. He would beat him. He would beat him. Like it was always comfortable. Like they weren't competitive spars.
But the Brooks team seemed to say that they were. Dominic Ingle says they were very competitive, and
they weren't. They weren't. They weren't. Amir Khan, because when Amir Khan had just been to the Olympics and just come and was going to go to the Olympics, and when he was the only representative from Team GB, and that picked Kel Brook as part of the sparring, like they weren't close. Like there was levels. That was my understanding.
Ray. Imagine if Amir Khan won the gold, right? Man, his popularity would be through the roof.
Well, it was through the roof anyway, and he won silver.
Yeah.
Do you not remember when Amir Khan came back off the plane from it was Athens, wasn't it?
Athens, yeah.
The whole airport, he got off the plane and everybody was waving at him. Amir Khan had that look like, whoa, what are all these people doing for me? He was only 17 years old. His popularity was through the roof anyway. He was the only boxer. He was the only.
And Amir Khan is easily marketable because he's a good-looking guy. You know what I mean? Like you can easily market him, like Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm not saying he's Sugar Ray Leonard, but you know what I mean. From a marketing point of view, you can easily market him. You know what I mean?
Well, he was easily marketed. He was on ITV. He was on ITV. He got remember he's a British Pakistani. There wasn't Imran will say the British Pakistanis were going into sports like cricket.
Ray, I want to ask you this question.
You weren't seeing him in boxing, so he was huge. Little Penny, he was huge when he burst onto the scene.
You know, some anonymous guy on YouTube, and I think he came onto my channel once, and I had a back and forth with him. He said the only reason Amir Khan was big because the fact that he was a British Pakistani. He goes, otherwise he'd just be another regular guy. Now I obviously found that, like, what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Listen, when you get these idiots like that, you need to give me a ring. You know what I mean? You need to give me a ring because listen, to say he only got to where he was because he was British Asian is a load of rubbish. For 17 years old to beat the guys that he was beating in the Olympics were seeded boxers. They weren't just average kids. They were seeded grown men who had been in the Europeans, the World Championships, and the Olympics as well. Imran, I know my amateur boxing.
Yeah, I don't see, and that's why I'm asking you, because I don't know. I don't follow the amateur scene like that. Do you know what I mean? I followed it when he was fighting at the Olympics. I don't follow it. I don't follow it, the amateur. That's why I'm asking you that. Obviously, I remember listening to Andy Lee, and Andy Lee said that what Amir Khan did as an amateur is unheard of. You don't get 17-year-olds winning 7 Olympic silver medalists. You don't get them silver medals. And he was shocked. He was saying, I was shocked. Like, he was in awe of what he did. Like,
you don't, and no one's, how many 17-year-olds have done it since?
Nobody.
Exactly.
I can't think of
There's
any.
your answer.
Imran, if Amir Khan
was winning at a canter, he wasn't just scraping through fights. He was winning fights at a canter.
You know what? You know what one guy said to me, Ray. You know what one guy said to me, Ray. He goes, he won silver, but it wasn't gold. He goes, got a silver. I would throw a silver medal in the bin. That's what he said to me. This guy was on one of the chats that I was speaking. I can't remember. I'll find you that chat and I'll screenshot you.
Hey, Imran,
he won silver, but it's not gold.
Imran, if Amir Khan was white, I think, and he went through and he became like, what he did in the pros, I think he'd be way bigger than Ricky Hatton. Like, where Ricky Hatton, like 20,000 Brits went to Las Vegas to him to fight Mayweather. I reckon if Amir Khan was white, I reckon 40,000 Brits would have gone to Las Vegas to fight whoever he wanted to fight.
I don't know. It's a hard one because Ricky Hatton was very well followed. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky Hatton used to like drink in pubs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
like Amir Khan, that's
Yeah.
not just about his color. I think
that's more than that,
Ricky Hatton was literally from the same council estate as some of these people.
Yeah,
He would drink in
exactly.
pubs. He would do. Amir Khan wasn't really that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
about
don't just
being.
think it's about his
Many
base
other
there.
guys.
Yeah,
There's many other guys.
Ricky Hatton was basically, he would sell tickets in his pub. He would drink Guinness with everyone. Amir Khan wasn't. Amir Khan was a bit more. If anything, he was, he was a bit more about the celebrity lifestyle.
But Amir Khan achieved more than Hatton.
Yeah, but what you said though, you're contradicting yourself. You said if he was white, he would have more fans than Ricky Hatton, and what I'm saying is that's not the case, because Ricky Hatton, he built up his own fan base from scratch, and they stayed loyal to him.
I'd agree with Ray there.
Amir Khan was very different. Amir Khan relied on, him being on TV, and that's it.
Ray, I think what Little Penny's probably trying to say is if Amir Khan was from a white background, he wouldn't have as much hate as what he gets.
Oh well, that's different. I thought he was saying if he was white, he would have taken more people over to America.
Yeah. No, I think he was saying that. But I think I think I don't know. I don't want to put words in Little Penny's mouth.
Yeah.
Well. If he's saying it that way,
I don't think. Yeah, I agree with Ray. He wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, fair enough. He's right, but
yeah, Hatton was one of the boys. You know what I mean? Like the
British public
could relate to him. They could relate to him. He did what they did. He lived the way they lived.
Exactly, Imran. Exactly.
Okay.
Hatton was one of them.
Yeah. So I think there was Hatton had a huge.
I still think Amir Khan would have beaten Ricky Hatton though.
You scared?
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. At 140, yes. Amir Khan's too big for Ricky.
Yeah, but if you ask the British public, they're all, most of them, because I know Stephen thinks he'd beat Ricky Hatton as well. Stephen.
Yes, sir.
Amir Khan beat Ricky Hatton at 140. Who wins?
Amir Khan, Ricky Hatton. I'm going with Amir Khan.
Yeah, you said that before as well. I think a lot of people in America probably pick Amir Khan, but I think
it's a lot of the British boys. A lot of the British boys would say Ricky Hatton.
But check it out, man. Here's the thing: Amir Khan, man, pound for pound, he was one of the best boxers of that time, and his skill set was just so much. It was just so much superior to that of Ricky Hatton. I just don't see it even. I don't see it. I don't see a scenario in which Ricky Hatton could overthrow and overpower, outskill Amir Khan. Amir Khan was with the business, man. He was with the business, man. He was pretty good.
You know what it is, Stephen? There's a problem in this country where Amir Khan, and I'm starting to hear a lot of it about AJ. It's he didn't have a chin. He didn't have a chin.
Yeah.
These guys could be undisputed in 4 weight categories, and all you'll hear is he hasn't got a chin. People talk about Ricky Hatton like he's the second coming of he's the second coming of I don't know, like Sugar Ray Leonard or Sugar Ray Robinson or something like that. I mean, if the guy nearly knocked out Maidana in the first round with that body shot, Maidana was a lot better of a fighter than Ricky Hatton.
Yeah,
no doubt. He was stronger and he had a better chin as well.
Exactly.
But Imran, there was a time when Khan could have fought Manny. I think it was in 2015. But obviously, because the Mayweather Pacquiao was made, obviously, of course, Pacquiao was going to choose that. And then Khan fought Canelo, right? Had he not fought Canelo and just waited, say, a year, because Pacquiao was looking for an opponent after Pacquiao Bradley 3. Had he had done that, it would have been pretty close. Like Amir may given Pacquiao some fits in that fight. Had he not fought Canelo, what do you think about that?
I think both Floyd and Manny probably looked at Amir Khan as a risk. Like they looked at him as a serious risk, and that's why they didn't fight him. Floyd definitely looked at Amir Khan as a risk. I'm not even saying Amir would have beaten Floyd, but the thing is, I think he looked at him as he looked at this guy and think, I don't need this guy in my life right now. You know, I'm 40, almost 36, 37 years of age. This guy's quick as anything. He's fast to feet. You know, I'm not a really big puncher. Pacquiao was different because Pacquiao had dynamite in his hand, so that would have been more dangerous. But Floyd was really reliant on, you know, on winning on points, and that was difficult to do against Amir Khan, you know. So I don't know. Like, and the fact that Floyd never fought Khan kind of tells you all you need to know. That I don't think
Didn't he win that poll? I think didn't he win?
Yeah,
like,
he did.
He had a poll, right?
Yeah, but what happened was Amir Khan announced the fight between Mayweather was done, and Mayweather didn't like the fact that Amir Khan had announced it before he did.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Mayweather took a little bit of a hump to that, so he said, Amir Khan, I'm not fighting you anymore. Amir Khan's gone on record on podcasts and said that fight was signed. You know, he was just missing a signature from Floyd, but the fight didn't go ahead because Amir Khan leaked it out. He openly said to the British press, the fight's done, and Floyd Mayweather was unhappy because the leak didn't come from him. Floyd Mayweather is the ultimate control freak. He wanted to be the one that said, I'm fighting on this date and I'm fighting this opponent. He didn't like the fact that Amir Khan was running his mouth saying it was him.
Leaf Hound says, what is Khan's best win? Khan was protected by Golden Boy. That is great. That is rubbish. Leaf Hound, let me explain. How can you say Khan was protected by Golden Boy when Maidana was his mandatory, he fought Maidana? Then he went to Lamont Peterson's backyard and fought Lamont Peterson in his backyard. And then he fought after that. Lamont Peterson failed a drugs test, and then fight after he fought an unknown Danny Garcia right after that.
Leaf Hound, get on. Leaf Hound, you know where the link is? Jump on, mate.
Khan's welterweight resume is trash.
Yeah, to be fair,
Amir Khan. The only person I can think of a better resume than Amir Khan from our country is probably Carl Froch.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's the only guy. Yeah,
I can't.
You know what? Nelson made that point. Nelson made that point. He goes, you know what? Yeah, from you British guys, he goes, I don't know why you guys don't give Khan and Froch. You were there, Little Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I don't know why you guys don't give Khan and Froch. He goes, those two are probably the two best British fighters that I know about. And he goes, you Brits don't seem to give those guys credit, you know? And to be honest, they don't get credit, really.
Froch is not on the same level as Amir Khan, man.
Hey?
Froch is not on the same level as Amir Khan, though.
In terms of resume, he is, mate.
Yeah, he is.
In terms of not from a full career and from amateurs. Are you talking amateurs? And
we're not talking about that, mate. We're talking about just his resume. We're not talking about actual ability. We're talking about who he's fought.
I think Froch has got a great resume, to be fair.
Yeah, who he's fought. Well, he only fought at the one weight, was he? Or did he move up? Did he move up?
No, he moved. But
it doesn't matter. He fought the best in his weight class. Time after time.
Yeah, he did. He has got a good
resume. Best in his weight class, innit? But that's what we're comparing, innit? That's your opinion. Best in his weight class. I'm saying that Amir Khan fought better fighters in his own weight class. So I wouldn't put.
I don't know. For me,
I'd rather put Ricky Hatton there than Carl Froch.
Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton hasn't got a good resume, to be fair.
But what I'm saying is, from fighter to fighter, regardless of resume, one of his fighters are better than really most of the guys he fought, and all the guys he fought, maybe minus Andre Ward. And Andre Ward gave him a whooping anyway.
Yeah, he did.
So,
but Ash, to be fair to Ricky Hatton, he did fight two of the greatest
that's
fighters ever.
That's what I'm saying.
Even though he got knocked out cold against Manny and he got knocked out too with Floyd Mayweather, he did fight two of the greatest fighters in our generation.
Yeah, okay, he did that, and then who else did he fought? What? Costa Tszyu. And then who else?
Costa Tszyu, but okay.
Yeah. So Carl Froch. Let me remind you. He had two wars with Joe, right?
Okay, then you had the fight with Andre Ward. Then you had the Super 6 tournament. Yeah. So ever since he won against Jean Pascal, he fought champion.
Yeah, but listen, there's this button there.
Yeah? Arthur Abraham. Yeah.
You gotta talk about
Darrell.
fighters that were level fighters, like at the time, like George Groves. Now, do not disrespect to him, but he's not really that. He's not pulling down trees by saying George Groves on your record. Do you know what I mean? Costa Zoo at the time was the man. He went Ricky Hatton fought him.
Yeah, but I've given you Costa Zoo, so I've
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You give me three guys that were in their prime, that were the men in the division. Manny Pacquiao was the man at the time. Mayweather was the man at the time. Costa Zoo was the man at the time.
Ward.
Andre Ward, yeah, one person, but even Andre Ward, if you know your boxing, it wasn't the most pleasing on the eye. So
it doesn't matter about his
style.
His resume, we're talking about names. We're not on about his style,
and his resume is the same. If you look at his resume, it's all in Oakland. He didn't even fight at Oakland hardly, so his resume is not the best either. He only fought at the end when he fought Kovalev, and they were debatable fights as well. So I don't rate his resume either. So I don't know, why you bring. I only say Andre Ward because he's undefeated, and a lot of people hold him in high, grade that he was undefeated and the number 2 pound for pound, whatever. But in my opinion, as we're all giving opinions, I don't rate his resume at all either. He lost his first fight, in my opinion, to Kovalev, and the second fight, what happened in that fight, and besides that, he fought Carl Froch, couple of killers in his early career, but then he had too many injuries, and he just didn't travel. Champions and great fighters, they travel any cities and take on the challenges. So if you want to compare him, saying Andre Ward, can't compare him to Manny Pacquiao or Mayweather.
Yeah.
I think what you have to look at is who's in his division at the time, and he's fought the best.
No, I'm not. Look, like I said, I'm not knocking Carl Froch. I just said Amir Khan has done much more in his career and as a fighter than Carl Froch, and I wouldn't put him there. I'd much rather put Ricky Hatton there because he even took bigger challenges than Carl Froch, where he fought the best fighters on the planet twice. And Costa Zoo, when he was in his prime, was no one wanted to really. He was the.
No, he wasn't in his prime. Costa Zoo wasn't in his prime.
Costa Zoo, well, according. I mean, I've had this debate with Imran a long time, and Imran told me that Costa Zoo hadn't fought in what was it? Was it
like probably 2 years? I think
2 years. Yeah, he hadn't fought in 2 years,
look,
so he wasn't.
Okay, but look, end of the day,
he was a big name, but he wasn't in his prime. So I'm not too sure where you're going with that one.
That, yeah, that's
but my point still stands that Carl Froch has a brilliant resume. You can't sit and say Carl Froch does not have a brilliant resume. He does, mate.
Listen, what I'm saying
look at Carl Froch's resume. You'll see he has a terrific resume.
Carl Froch is not known to fight in any elite Hall of Fame fighters, all right? So let's just leave it at that. If you want to just take out, you want to disregard his Costa Zoo fight, fair enough. Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Hall of Fame fighters. Who's he fought for the Hall of Fame? Andre Ward, okay. And then who else you got? Then what? You got a big resume. Well, name another Hall of Fame fighter then. He's got such a good resume.
I imagine, just to answer your question, I wouldn't be surprised if Kessler ends up there.
Wow, Kessler. Okay. Will you add that, Ray?
I don't. To be honest, Kessler was a good fighter. I rate Kessler, but thing is with Kessler though, he lost to Kessler and he beat Kessler when he was washed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Well, he lost to Kessler in Denmark, and then he had the rematch. I wouldn't necessarily call him washed up at that point.
But it was same like Ricky Hatton though. It seemed like Ricky Hatton. Kessler was inactive and he was old. He never fought again, just like Costa Zoo never fought again after Ricky Hatton. So
he did fight again after he lost to Carl Froch.
No, he didn't. That was his last fight after Froch.
I'm saying take Costa Zoo out. Take Costa Zoo out. He ain't got 2 Hall of Fame fighters on his resume. But Ray's saying he's got a really brilliant resume. But I'm just giving my opinion, That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying is, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, I agree with Ray in the sense, and here how I agree with Ray is that Carl Froch fought a lot of guys. He fought a lot of guys that were world level. but not all of them were in their primes, or not all of them were great at the time he fought them. But you could say the same about Amir Khan, really, because if you look at Amir Khan's resume, some of the guys he fought like Barrera were a little bit past. He was past his prime for sure. But Khan did fight better fighters. But we got like Khan also took a few more losses as well. So it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, I do agree that Khan was fighting in a better division. They were more glittered fighters. They were better fighters. Like, you know, you can't. I can't hate on Froch because Froch.
No one's hating on him, man.
Froch didn't have the fighters in that division because there weren't that many great fighters. They were okay, like Arthur Abraham, Glenn Johnson, George Groves. These are all a certain level, but you know, guys, Lamont Peterson.
That's the thing I'm trying to say.
Better fighters, aren't they?
That's what I'm trying to say to Ray. That you know, if you're saying the guy, if someone asked me, in my own opinion, while I've been watching fights, who are the two British would you say have done really well from England? And you gotta say Ricky Hatton. You'd be stupid not to say Ricky Hatton.
No, but what are you saying? I don't get. Are you saying that from that fought in America? You mean?
What are you comparing him to? What did you say? Amir Khan and Kyle Brook. What did you say? So I can go off that. What did you say?
No. So basically, we were saying we were talking about resumes. We were talking about who's got the in-depth resumes, and Ray said that the only guy that I can think of that has a resume like Khan was Froch.
But he's a weak resume though, isn't it? Like you said, he's fighting B and C level fighters, and that shows then that if you're saying that, I might have to agree with that. But what I was saying was going off that was that even Ricky Hatton's two of Ricky Hatton's fights, even he lost, but he was in them fights with if not the best fighters. They're still on his resume though. So regardless of you saying he's got 30 fights, but he could be fighting 30 B level fighters. Ricky Hatton's fought 30 C level fighters, let's just say for argument's sake. But end of the day, he's went and gone on to fought 2 A plus fighters, which he hasn't done. And so has Amir Khan done that. So this is why Ricky Hatton goes in there, because Amir Khan's for Canelo, which I'm sure everyone agrees is an A+ fighter.
Yes.
So so that's the point I'm making. I'm not saying Carl Froch is fighting bombs and he's a crap fighter. All I'm saying is the level of fighters he fought, they're not good really. If they went to America, they'll get wiped. They'll get beat.
But Ash, does it matter that he lost those fights? Like
no,
Hatton?
It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, he was in the fights. Manny Pacquiao fight, he got caught with a shot, got knocked out cold. But remember this, before a fight gets made, if the fighter is not meant to be there, the fight won't get made. There's nothing. No one wants to watch it. Ricky Hatton was undefeated. He was. I don't remember which way he was. But I'm sure Manny Pacquiao was undefeated first, wasn't he? He was undefeated then, and it was a massive fight. And then when he fought Manny Pacquiao, he was coming off some wins and whatever. Oh no, actually, was he straight back off that? Was it?
No, straight after.
I think it was straight after or one fight.
And he fought a few guys.
Did he? Okay, but anyway, he's coming off some good few wins, and he had English boxing on his back when Ricky Hatton was fighting, not Carl Froch. So that's a few points. There's a few points I just put out there.
And also, just to piggyback on what Ash was saying, Ricky Hatton moved up a division to fight Mayweather. So 147 is not Ricky Hatton's weight class.
Yeah, I think what we were going off just in depth of their resumes, like the amount of guys that they fought. Do you know what I mean? So amount of world level guys that they fought.
But I do think that Amir Khan have achieved more than Ricky Hatton, though.
Possibly, yeah. Most likely, yeah. Yeah, he has a better resume than Ricky Hatton. But when you say achieved more, what? Because Ricky was a welterweight world champion as well, and he was a unified light welterweight champion. So it depends on what you mean by achieve more.
He was the lineal champion at 140.
Who, Khan?
Ricky Hatton. No, Ricky Hatton.
Yeah. But even you could say Khan was the man at 140 as well. But it was between him and Bradley. But Bradley he ducked Khan, innit? He didn't want to fight him. So that it's a different.
Anyway, boys, we didn't really answer the question. The question was, what was Khan's best win?
Maidana.
Khan was protected. So we've all agreed that Khan wasn't protected by Golden Boy. But what was his best win?
Maidana to me.
Imran?
I don't know. It's a tough one. It's Alexander or Maidana for me. I think the Alexander won because of the way he beat him. But Maidana was a great win because I think he was against a massive puncher and people thought Maidana would knock him out.
Stephen?
I'd say either it's got to be either Devin Alexander or Maidana. I'm gonna go with the edge on probably at the time. I'm gonna go with Devin Alexander.
No one's mentioned Zab Judah yet, Ash.
Yeah, Zab Judah was a great win.
But Zab was
Judah. I forgot he beat Zab too.
A good question, that is right. I'll have to go with you know what it is though. What you got to remember to take into account is that when he went over there, he had a string of good victories. It wasn't just the one. So when you say Maidana, maybe right now it doesn't hold so much weight because it's just the one on his record. But when you take into account when he went over to America for Malignaggi, Zab Judah, then he went back and forth Maidana. So that was a cherry on the top. So, you know, it's them 3 fights, you know, in a row. I'd say that's my answer, not just the one. It's them 3 going to America.
You know what?
And doing that.
You know what,
Showing
Ray?
he's got bollocks.
That goes under the radar is a Kotelnik fight, you know, because Kotelnik was coming off a good win against Maidana, you know. That was a good win.
Yeah. I was going to say either Zab Judah or Kotelnik because and on third one on a par with Maidana.
Yeah,
we're going to underrate this one is Barrera. The reason why I say Barrera is because that gave him the confidence after the defeat that he had to let him know that he can do it.
Hold on, do you say Barrera's his best fight? You say?
No, it's third. I was going in
third. Okay, sorry.
Third with like Maidana, not his best one. I'd probably say for me he's probably Zab Judah.
Barrera was super washed by the time Khan got him.
It's more. Sometimes it's about the implications it gives for the fighter.
Also,
if you lost that fight, it would have been all over for him. That's the point I'm making.
But also, you got to remember, you couldn't really get a gauge on that because it was stopped from accidental headbutt. Not that saying that Amir Khan would have lost it, but we would have seen him go a few more rounds. Maybe you know, get caught with a punch or two. But because he got caught with the headbutt to stop it, it was just.
I don't think Barrera had the power.
Ash, so what happened if you had lost that fight though? If you had lost that fight, what would have happened to Amir Khan's career?
If he lost that fight?
Yeah.
Well, he already lost so many fights. Like,
he'll just rebuild his career like he does. He'll just go and he'll just come back.
We wouldn't have been able to rebuild it the same way. I don't think you've lost against Barrera at that point.
Listen, Ray. Oh, but listen to this. I don't agree with that. Yeah, the reason why is because when he got knocked out from Prescott, I think he was 18 or 19, and he got knocked out from a heavy puncher, right? And he got knocked out bad on TV, everyone to see, right? And he come back, and this fight against Barrera wasn't much long after. People seem to forget that. They think it was years after. He literally left England maybe in that same year, and before you know it, he was world champion. And Kotelnik, like Imran was talking about, at that time, he was a good operator at that time, and Amir Khan dealt with him swiftly.
Yeah, so no one's forgetting that. I'm just saying that Barrera fight could have gone either way for him because a lot of people were doubting that Amir Khan, although Barrera was washed up, people were
top 3. Yeah,
Amir Khan was getting a lot of stick.
Everybody, my wife is being specific again.
I don't give a damn.
So these marital issues, you know how it goes.
Don't listen to him.
Oh no, but Ray, you can't put him in the top 3, man. Come on.
No, I do. It's funny.
Okay, let's do that.
The Zab Judah one's there, the Kotelnik one's there, and I think that one's joint for Maidana, and that's what I think. The implications, I think, for me would have been game over if he had lost that fight.
Khan beat Paulie so good. That was an amazing fight. When
Paulie Malignaggi, that's another one. That's another one because he absolutely battered Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah, that was his best fight. Not because of the opponent, but just because of the performance. It was like so flawless against Paulie.
Yeah, and it was coming off the Mayweather loss too, wasn't it?
You know when JM84 says Zab Judah was washed up, Zab Judah just beat He was a champion. He beat Lucas Matisse.
He's the IBF champion.
Yeah, I don't know how like you could say someone's washed up if they're champion and they beat a killer.
Yeah,
Ray,
Matisse. Yeah, that Jew he was a killer, man.
Yeah,
that's
no,
why
like,
I put it at number 1.
Because you know what? Zab Judah beat Lucas Matisse. And Ray, you know about Lucas Matisse.
I know. Yeah.
Lucas Matisse was a killer. He beat Lucas Matisse. You couldn't say that anyone that beats Lucas Matisse is washed up. Matisse had the kind of power that could knock you spark out. This is why I don't understand. Some people say when someone's washed up, he got Amir Khan made him look washed up because Amir Khan was too fast. But then 2 years later, Zab Judah fought Danny Garcia and Danny Garcia went life and death with Zab Judah. It went 12 rounds. And Danny Garcia had all sorts of trouble against Zab Judah. And that was after Khan knocked him out. So how does that work? So JMA Lucas had a bad night.
But I really wish you guys. I really wish Khan at some point rematch.
Judah was 33, 32 when he fought Khan.
You know, I really wish Khan rematch Prescott after he got a few wins, because I really think he would have beat.
You wish Amir Khan rematch too, mate?
Prescott.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Yes. Well, why didn't
after he got a few strings of victories and like a champion?
Ray, Kevin Mitchell beat Prescott.
I know.
All those guys beat Prescott.
I know.
McCluskey beat Prescott. You know, Ray, Paul McCluskey beat Prescott.
And then he got beat off Amir Khan, didn't he, Paul McCluskey?
Yeah. I just think their careers went in the wrong direction.
Imran, why didn't that rematch happen? That Prescott.
I think initially they weren't going to put Amir Khan in a straight away with Prescott because it was too dangerous.
Prescott wanted too much money.
And I think when Amir Khan was a world level fighter, Prescott had completely finished. Really, he was getting beat off guys that were like British level and like McCluskey.
That's perfect though. Like he should have just done it. He just knocked him out. Got that back,
Well, who knows? If he beats Brook, he might rematch Prescott now. Prescott's always been calling for the fight. He might rematch him now. It might even Prescott might actually have a better chance of beating Khan now as well.
Yeah, he might need to lose like 50 pounds if he's
Prescott's been retired for like 5 years now.
Yo, guys, you guys realize how Maidana is like a heavyweight? Like after he retired, he was like, he was like pregnant for.
Well, what I heard with Maidana was a couple of years ago, he was having a comeback, but it didn't quite come off. But so I've heard he's lost a lot of weight.
No, but it's incredible the amount of weight he gained, like for such a small body he was.
Because the American dollar is very high in Argentina. It's like worth 10. Like I don't know, who knows? Like
so, bro, Ray, this is for you. Bro says, okay, besides Maidana and Alexander, are they the only elite wins that Amir Khan has? But you could say that about any fighter. We were just going through Canelo's resume and saying who's the like.
Judah was an elite win.
We just said Zab Judah.
Zab Judah, yeah. The problem I have is that you could go through anyone's resume, Ray, and rip it in half, couldn't you?
You could do, but I think this is where people are either biased or disrespectful.
And one thing you have
Amir Khan's got one of the best resumes, definitely in terms of British fighters and British boxing. So honestly, to turn around and say something like, "Oh, he's only fought 2 elite fighters," is absolutely it's dreadful, really, to come up with something that's absolutely nonsense.
Honestly, no one can say he only fought 2 elite fighters. They can say he only beat, but he fought everyone in America. He fought he went through everyone, no matter what. From Danny Garcia to Bud Crawford, his resume, he never backed down, unless it was but now he's even fighting Brook, so his resume is incredible.
Yeah, you got to give it to also British fighters, man. British fighters, they tend to fight everyone. Unlike Stephen, I don't want you to get angry with me or anything, but with American fighters, they seem to they seem to manage, quote unquote, manage their careers where they cherry pick here and there. Whereas with British fighters, they tend to fight the fight. They tend to have the next man up mentality. With Hatton, with Khan, with AJ. You know what I mean? and Carl Froch, they don't care about like cherry picking and stuff like that.
And I agree with you, man. I agree. That's what I be saying, man. It's a lot of strategical maneuvering, a lot of cherry picking, man, going on, and it's mainly American boxers.
Guys, I want to touch on AJ quick because I know Ray, you wanted to touch on AJ. Like, I wanted to make the point that you were talking about. Like, I think the hate that AJ got was after that speech.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of like AJ gets a lot of hate now, to be fair.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of stick, But Stephen, I want to get you in here because you were not impressed with AJ's performance against Usyk. And you were saying, man, this guy's fighting like he needs to sort it out. What's your take? What's your take about AJ, man?
I just feel like AJ, man. I feel like AJ, he's his own worst enemy. He lacks the confidence. He lacks heart, man. And that's have all the skill in the world. If he don't believe in himself and if he's not reliable, he's not ever gonna excel past being just a woulda, coulda, shoulda type of fighter. That's how I feel about it, man.
Did
you hear me?
AJ's done.
Yeah, I feel like AJ has with that fight, especially the 12th round, his will. I feel like he already lost the fight, like the second half of the fight. He never used any of his attributes against Usyk. He was just he didn't want to get knocked out. To me, in my opinion, that's what I was watching that fight. He just didn't want to get knocked out, so he was just trying to survive the 12 rounds. He did. And I feel like...
Did y'all hear what I was saying, though, man? Did you feel what I was saying?
Yeah, 100%. Ray, what have you got to say? Because I know Stephen, I remember when the fight actually happened, Stephen got stuck into AJ because he just thought, nah, man, this guy kind of gave up in there. Do you know what I mean? It was... It was almost like he gave up. I don't know. I just found his performance really bizarre. Like he was going through the motions.
He fought the wrong fight. He fought the wrong fight. He fought the wrong tactics, and he tried to outbox. There's always a saying: if you've been in a boxing ring or been in a boxing gym, some people haven't. There's one of the rules I tell you is you don't try and slug with a slugger. You don't try and outpunch a puncher. And if you're not a boxer, you certainly don't outbox a boxer. And that's what AJ tried to do. He tried to outbox not just a boxer, a master boxer. And he came up woefully short. And at times, he looked as though if Usyk had gone up a couple of gears, he could have got stopped.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go back to what I was saying, that if AJ had put it on Usyk, maybe in a different fight, but AJ didn't want to do that. For some reason, AJ just didn't want to do that. He chose to try and box with Usyk, which I thought was stupid. I didn't expect AJ to fight that way at all.
Ray, I think AJ's fire, that fire when he fought Dillian White, where he was just, he was like a warrior or a lion, you know what I mean? I think that's gone, mate. I think it's gone.
I would agree. I know Imran said it quite a bit, and it has gone. It's completely gone, and he needs to get that back if he's got any desire.
Can he get it back, Ray? Can he get it back?
He could do. He could do. I mean, we've seen fighters have long layoffs and get it back. For me, why? Why
Because
not?
Ray, he has two embarrassing losses with Ruiz and Usyk now. I don't think he can get it back, dude. I think that
sorry, can I just interrupt quickly?
Yeah, go.
I think the main problem with the AJ versus Usyk fight was AJ was so up for fighting Fury, right? Then all of a sudden, the Fury thing gets I think his mind was diluted. He was colluded, with another goal. And then I think it was hard for him to get up to fight Usyk. When his goal.
Then I don't know if you can buy that, because then you could say he was supposed to fight Jerome Miller, and then he fought Andy Ruiz. You can't keep putting that excuse. You're a professional.
That was one of the biggest fights.
You're a professional.
That was one of the biggest heavyweight fights.
You fight that opponent. I'm not buying any of this. you know, or he was supposed to fight this guy and he pulled out.
Yeah.
He knew, we knew the Fury fight wasn't happening because of the arbitration with Deontay Wilder. It's not as if he had like a few days to prepare for Usyk. He had plenty of time to prepare for Usyk. He just fought the he fought the he just fought a dodgy fight. And the other point is, was it you that said he had 2 embarrassing losses? I disagree with that as well. I mean,
I didn't say that.
Well, somebody said it. LP
Little Penny
must have been you, man. I mean,
I said it.
You can't call that loss to Usyk embarrassing.
No, because the reason why I said it, Dukes.
But Ruiz was like, that was like a shock. That was like,
it was a shock.
That was like a cultural moment.
He won the rematch, but how can you call losing to Usyk, who's a fellow Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight? Although I thought you would walk all over him at heavyweight, you can't really call it embarrassing when you look at Usyk's credentials like that, can you?
No, Ray, the reason why I said it, dude, because he was about to get knocked out by a cruiserweight in the 12th round. Like, that was embarrassing for me. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, like AJ is mentally gone now. Like his mind is somewhere else now. Like he's like, because when AJ fought Klitschko and like Dillian White and Brazil, and you know, I could see the lion in him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that fire is not even there anymore. And I don't know if you can relight it.
In my opinion, he got hurt worse in the Klitschko fight than in the Usyk fight.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But you know,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. He hasn't got that. He hasn't got that aggression, that front foot aggression. That I'm going to hurt you, you're going to hit me, but I'm going to hit you back twice as hard. He's too cautious now, AJ. Something's happened. He looks very frightened.
Ray, did he get domesticated, Ray? Because, you know, he was so popular and, you know, he was getting all these endorsements. Did he get domesticated?
Probably. I mean, he does make a lot of money. He doesn't need to fight. He makes far more money outside the ring than he does inside the ring. So is it a case of him getting a lot of money? Is it a case of him panicking after the Ruiz loss?
I think it's coach.
It could be a combination of the two. It may be the fact that he's got a lot of people in his corner as well. AJ, I know you don't like swearing on your channel, but he does have a lot of arse-slickers. He does have a lot of people in his corner telling him how fantastic he is. I've never known a heavyweight to have, when they're in the corner, have 3 or 4 people giving him advice at once. That's a problem with AJ. He is comfortable. I know what you mean, Little Penny. He's very, very comfortable, and he needs to get out of that comfort zone.
You know, when it comes down to like people saying he fought the wrong fight, like what is his corner doing in between rounds? Like not telling him to use his size, like, you know. Like,
exactly.
Like he's losing. Like you have to keep like he's like, this is a close fight. Like I feel like he's outgrown his coach. Like maybe he needs a better coach too.
I think Rob McCracken. It's a good point that Rob McCracken's a fantastic amateur coach. I'm not too sure how good he is as a professional. Look, he had a really good run. Yeah. That's one fighter, Imran. He had a really good run with Carl Froch. That's it.
You know, like what's the style? I'm not familiar with the coach. Is he more of a boxer, or is he like more his coach? Does he have like killers? Like is he aggressive? You know how Reynoso's is like, you know, like
This is what I'm explaining to you now, mate. Yeah. So what he is, he's the head coach of Great Britain's amateur boxing team. Yeah, that's what he is. And he's the only professional he's taken is Carl Froch.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So how can we turn around and say Rob McCracken is a fantastic professional boxing coach when he's only had one fighter?
Yeah, you know, I agree with Steven when he said he's his own worst enemy, because AJ is a good guy, so he's probably trying to be loyal, and you know, he's probably trying to like finish and start.
The thing is, it's not time for him to be loyal. It's not like McCracken's on the dole or whatever, because McCracken's made a lot of money from AJ anyway, and he's also got a job with the Olympic team. So he's got to do what's best for his career if he wants to be competitive with these top level guys, because at this particular point, there's quite a few guys that might be able to. I'm not even talking about the top guys. I'm talking about the guys that is second string ones, the ones that are coming through.
Do you guys think Wilder beats AJ if they were to fight next?
I would pick Wilder on what I've seen.
Oh, Wilder. Yeah, I'll pick Wilder too.
But Wilder's taken way more damage in the past 3 fights than.
Yeah, but AJ is gun shy, dude. Wilder will only need to connect once.
Wilder will do his thing. Yeah, that's true. I agree.
I think AJ is the better boxer, and he could potentially hurt Wilder. The problem is with AJ, I don't see. I feel like, you know what? I feel like AJ is not throwing. He's not throwing that. He's not committing anymore like he used to. And that's the problem. He needs to. He needs to go out and get that.
He's got no confidence.
Yeah.
Ray, I don't know if you watched. Did you watch Kell Brook v Crawford?
Yeah.
You know that fight? If we go watch that again, right? Kell Brook never threw one power shot in that whole fight. Every punch that he threw was a jab. Not one punch, not one power punch in that fight. You know why? Because he was protecting his eye sockets. He knows. He knows that his eye sockets are damaged. So mentally, Kell Brook isn't the same guy. He knows that if I throw a big punch and I get countered by Crawford, hit me on the eye, it's finished. And that's eventually what happened. So mentally, Brook's not the same fighter, hence why he's not throwing power shots. That's why I worry for Brook in the fight that he's going to have with Khan, right?
Yeah, but Imran, what AJ doesn't have an eye socket problem.
No,
you know
but this is what I'm saying. This is the point I'm getting to, is the fact that AJ not throwing the punches because he doesn't trust his chin. He doesn't trust. There's something that, otherwise, why isn't he throwing punches? Why isn't he being aggressive like he once was? Like, even when he used to gas, when he fought Klitschko, he gassed. He gassed in that 5th round, was it? When he put it on Klitschko, he actually almost got stopped himself, Ray. You know, in that 5th round, he almost got stopped. But now he's worried about the stamina. He's worried about his chin. There's so many things he's got worried about. He's got to forget about that. He's got to forget about that if he loads up and goes attack someone and runs out of gas.
Yeah.
You can't think like that.
But yeah, because Imran also being nice, like, you know, where I think he was saying before, where he's too nice, blah blah blah. There's been a lot of boxers who were like nice and still still became successful. Like Manny Pacquiao is a perfect example. He was super nice as well, but
he was always loyal to his trainer too, right? So like you know what I mean? So I'm saying, like, there's certain people that he probably has a hard time letting go of his mates or his trainers. You know what I mean? But also, I want to make 2 more points quickly. Imran, like, I was watching the fight again with Brook and Crawford. I think they were both trying to just counter each other. That's why, like, less punches, and Bud won that competition. So I think Brook was just trying to counter, so he wasn't throwing too many shots in that fight. But I think, but I agree with your point. Like, he is not the same fighter because of his injuries in the eye sockets, and also with the Klitschko fight and AJ, I AJ because he got off the canvas. He's a former legend, and I think he became a better fighter after the fight. But then Ruiz, like, killed, like, the downfall of AJ is from Ruiz, not from Klitschko. I feel like Ruiz, the first fight, like, literally drowned AJ.
Yeah, maybe AJ needs to speak to a psychiatrist.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe he already is. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think he needs a boxing coach that's just going to bring that dog out of him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Who is that, Ray? Who can do that?
I don't know. Naturally, you see, this is what I like, Imran. Whenever there's a situation, I call it a crossroad result. Not a crossroad fight, a crossroad result. I.e., when you've just lost and your next fight is make or break. Usually, a British fighter heads over to America. Nigel Benn done it. Amir Khan done it. And now Joshua's doing it. Ricky Hatton did it as well, didn't he? Yeah. So who can do it? Lots of people. Like, for me, you need somebody who's going to capitalize on his offensive ability.
I'm not too sure Eddie Reynoso or people like Virgil Hunter are that guy, because they're more counter-punching and defensive kind of fighters. So
right, instead of going through the fire next, should AJ take a couple of tune-ups? Like, Ricky Hatton did that. Took a couple of
no, because he might lose those.
This is the thing, though. At the end of the day, if he takes his tune-ups, he might not get the opportunity to get. He wants his belts back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if he takes tune-ups, he doesn't get his opportunity to get his belts back.
And the worst case scenario is he gets a tune-up and something is heavyweight, right? Could you imagine a right shot lands on him? Then like his career is definitely over then.
Yeah, you're better off. You're better off just going in at deep end. I mean, his good thing is you already knows he's been in a deep end against Ruiz. People were telling him to take a tune-up fight. He went straight back in against Ruiz and he won his belts back. So if he goes in, he's got to go in. He's got to go in properly against Usyk. But this is the thing. This is the glory. If he beats Usyk, he becomes a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world of 3 belts. So the rewards are great.
But Ray, Usyk is super confident now. He knows that he can beat AJ. He knows he can hurt AJ. And he's now revered as one of the pound per pound fighters in the world at the moment. So his confidence is super high, whereas AJ is on the other way around. So I don't know if AJ can pull this off, man.
But AJ's been in this sport before against Ruiz. How confident was Ruiz? Ruiz was so confident he barely trained. He just ate Snickers all the time. So
yeah, but different fighters. But the thing is also, Usyk is more disciplined than Ruiz, and Ruiz. Sorry, Usyk is a much better boxer than
Ruiz.
So I don't know if he can use that same tactic like what he did with Ruiz, where he just tried to outbox him in the rematch.
Well, obviously, because it didn't work in the first fight, so he's not going to use it in the second fight, is he? I think the point I'm trying to make
I don't know where he goes from here, man.
The point I'm trying to make is this isn't new. This isn't new to AJ. I'm not saying that means he wins, but what I'm saying is it's not a new, because he's been there before, and I think psychologically that'll help him. I think what he needs to realize is the way he wins this fight is to bully